Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hannibal and Pedro, or the Pedro and Hannibal YouTube channel. This guy over here. Are we on the right side?
No, flip that shit, bro. Flip it.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. That's better. That's better.
Cool. How you guys doing? Hope you guys had a great day. Hope you guys enjoyed your Halloween. Pedro, how your Halloween went? I know we had that mask on Monday.
Yeah. It was good, bro. Yesterday I went live for like 5 hours, wore a mask, did some deliveries. It was fun. We had a great time. Took the kid trick-or-treating. It was super cold, so we lasted about 45 minutes, but we got some great candy. She had a blast. So it was a really, really good Halloween night, man. How about you?
Pretty good. I went out a little bit. I didn't go into the parade. I know New York City has the Halloween Day parade, but I kind of went, hung out with a friend. He finished work. He was working at the bar. Was at a few beers, looking at some funny costumes. It was a great Daphne. Yeah. Anyway, it was a huge.
Hold on, stop. Hold on. I got two questions. You said a few beers, so how many is that?
Only maybe 2 or 3, because I know I had to get up early. Nothing too crazy. I was just hanging out. It's been a minute, but yeah, that Daphne was a really Daphne really Scooby-Doo.
Oh, Daphne, got it. Okay,
yeah.
Pretty good. Dabba-doo.
Yeah, that's something else.
You got pictures, bro?
No pictures, no.
Oh, okay.
But I know you said you saw a lot of stuff happening from yesterday online.
This morning, I woke up this morning and I was getting some things and tagged. And listen, I want to say this. Eli is here. We're going to bring him up in a moment. So if you're here for that, fantastic. One disclaimer. This is not some ambush. Me and Hannibal aren't going to yell and scream and ask Eli all these questions and bring up all this shit. That's not what this conversation is about. This conversation is 3 grown-ass men. We're going to ask some hard-hitting questions. Eli can ask us whatever. And we're going to have a conversation about YouTube, how to deal with what's going on, why this is going on. We're going to talk about coaching, what that means to me. I want to ask Eli what that means to him. Hannibal has some questions, and we're going to have a conversation. So this isn't going to be the interview you saw yesterday on other channels, and this is going to be very different. We are men here, and it's going to be something I hope you get value from, and I hope you learn something. If you got questions, you can put them in the chat. Doesn't mean they're going to be asked. It would depend. I hope you guys can be respectful, but I understand if you don't feel like you need to. I'm not going to block anybody. We're not going to ban anybody. Eli said he's not going to look at the chat, so feel free to say what you want, but this is a conversation. But I've been seeing some erratic, very sad behavior in the last day, I guess. And this isn't anything new to YouTube. It's YouTube. But I know Hannibal sees some of it as well, and I think he's got some opinions on it. So we're going to get into all that and more tonight. So
yeah. I mean, I think, we'll bring in Eli right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, Eli, how you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for having me. First of all, I just want to apologize for last week. Obviously, I'm here, so I wasn't BSing anyone. Just wanted to make that clear. But I apologize for last week, and thank you for having me here tonight.
No problem. So yeah, just like what Pedro was saying earlier, like this is not going to be necessarily like some people think some interviews should be like interrogations. It's not interrogations. It's an interview. Like, appreciate that Eli showing his shirt. I appreciate Eli coming in because he didn't have to. I'm sure if you saw some of our content and some of the things we've already said, it's very interesting that you decided to join this conversation. And I be honest, the first question I would like to ask is, why did you accept this invitation with Pedro? Went to your chat and asked you to come on. Why did you accept this? You didn't have to.
The truth of the matter is I have respect for you guys, regardless of what's been said or done in the past. You got to understand that, there's a certain way to do things out here on YouTube and a certain way to not. And there's a certain level of etiquette that I feel real YouTubers have and wannabe YouTubers don't have. You guys have that etiquette. When I first started following Pedro back in December of 2022 last year, when I was driving for DoorDash and Uber Eats for about almost 4 months because Don and I needed some extra money and things were tough. We were moving in together, additional expenses. The Bay Area is an expensive place to live already. So I started to follow the people, in the community. And when you type in DoorDash, the first person that comes up is Pedro DoorDash Santiago. That's great. Mm-hmm. And what really honestly, this is the truth, Pedro. The truth is the motivational Wednesdays is what got me about you. Yes, the DoorDash content, everyone's creating that. Let's do ride-alongs. Let's make 200-300 in a day. Let's make 2,000 in a week, yada, 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 right? But what really got to me was the motivational Wednesdays. I looked forward to those Wednesdays at, was it 1 o'clock? Was it 4 Eastern, 3 Central, right? Okay.
Yep.
You're out there, you're driving, and believe it or not, no matter how many friends you have, no matter how many people love you or whatever, when you're out there driving, you're alone. You're by yourself. You're one man or woman going out there trying to provide for your family. And you want some support from people that understand what you're going through. And not only did Pedro provide that from a DoorDash and Uber Eats and food delivery standpoint, but I related to him on the personal development aspect, motivation, inspiration, and all of that. We need more of that in this world. And even out here on YouTube, we definitely need a lot more of that. So that's why I wanted to do it. That's the honest to God truth. That's where my heart and soul is at. I hope that answers the question so far.
Mm-hmm. Pedro, you want to jump in?
No, I that makes sense. I'll speak on that in a minute. I want Hannibal to go for a little bit.
Okay. Well, so what we've noticed in the last couple of months is you have your live stream walk. And I will ask you a question, in your opinion, because I think, actually, let's take a step back. When the reason why you decided to coach, right? I don't think I've seen a video or seen you talk about this, but why you decided to be a life coach? Because I know you had other business ventures, some old videos I've seen, networking, all that type of thing, but you decided to do the life coach. Was there a person? Was there a situation? What was the, I guess, triggering event that said, hey, I want to be a life coach?
It was past relationships. At the time, also in my early 40s, I'm 49. I'll be 50 next month. Shit, man, I'm gonna be 50 on December 17th. God, wow. It was in my early 40s. I was dating this veterinarian, and she ended up cheating on me. I did a lot for her, and it stung. But it wasn't just that. It was a combination of things, because I've dealt with people in the real world all my life, as you deal with out here on YouTube. The reason why it seems crazier out here on YouTube is we're a global shared platform where, let's be real, I'm not trying to be rude, half the world has some form of mental instability. And I'm not trying to be critical, but you guys, I'm sure you see it, like half the people on YouTube have some kind of mental illness or something. And, you know, some of the things that they say or do or react are even out of their control. So, but in the past, you know, in my younger days, I used to behave in similar ways as I was finding my way, as these people do. And so when I finally figured out, you know, how to turn my life around, become a better person, become a stronger person emotionally, mentally, spiritually, when I first started to focus more on personal development in my early to mid 30s, and it made me a stronger person. After I had that breakup with that veterinarian in my early 40s, that, along with the past I just mentioned, triggered the fact that, hey, I want to help people figure out where I fucked up and, you know, the mistakes I made. I want to use my examples of how I used to behave and share why I behaved that way. Yeah, I was jealous of people. I was insecure. I was immature. I might have been acting a bit even unstable and stuff, right? So I identify going through that, and now I see other people going through it, and it's become my life's mission to try to help as many of those people understand what they're going through and help them work through it to become better people. That's the thing. So that's where my passion and inspiration came from.
Do you think that your channel is representative of that right now in the current state?
Not as best as possible. Great question. Not as best as possible. That's a very fair question, very valid question. Do I wish it would go in a different direction? Yes, and I'm trying to take it a different direction. But when we further more so get into things, and you guys will understand this whole gang stalking thing, like you were saying, Pedro, on that show, I believe it was on either it was last Monday or this Monday, I can't remember. There's so many shows. You were saying you have a lot of haters, but you have individual haters that don't even know each other, and your haters hate each other. My haters love each other and hate me collaboratively, like in a gang stalking, approach. So there's a difference when they can all conglomerate behind in a Discord and plot things every time you go live, rebroadcast you. Every time you go on someone else's channel for an interview, they all come and attack the chat. And it creates this craziness that's really, really hard to get away from. But yes, you are right. It is not the direction I want it to go towards, but I'm going to take it in the right direction. And that's why I want to clear the air by doing these types of shows with you guys. Last night with Robert Reese and whatever's, going to happen in the future. Yeah.
I know. Okay. In terms of coaching, right? Your coaching style. What would you describe your coaching style? How do you talk in terms? I mean, obviously we see your live streams, but what would if someone asks you, Eli, what's your coaching style? What would be the answer for that?
This is even though I know you've kind of shown some of this, Pedro, but this is where I kind of feel I relate to you, Pedro. I believe in the tough love approach, and the tough love approach is straightforward. It's in your face in a loving yet dominant way, because I feel if you don't tough love people, they're not going to take you seriously. And so my dad, who passed away 14 years ago, tough loved me. When I used to make all these crazy mistakes as a little kid, I mean, I got good grades in school. I did well. I played sports. I did all of that, right? But I was a little shit. I admit it. And my dad would whip out, he was a bigger guy. He had gained some weight. He had like a 44, 46 inch, belt. And back in those days, before these laws came out where you can't even discipline your kids or you go to jail, right? I got the belt a few times, man. And first time I got the belt, I was like, man, that freaking hurt.
Yeah.
That freaking hurt. And the second time my dad started to pull off the belt when he was unbuckling it, I stopped because I knew if I kept running my mouth, I was going to get the belt, right? That's the tough love approach. So that's how I learned. I think nowadays we're dealing in a world of entitlement. We're dealing with You've said it too, Pedro, and you, Hannibal. We're dealing with participation trophies where you get a trophy for just showing up without having to earn the trophy and understand the meaning of the trophy. And that's why I say you've got no disrespect, Hannibal. I know you're a good millennial. I have respect for you. But there are a lot of millennials and Gen Zers out there that have been raised in this environment of entitlement. And that's causing a lot of the issues we have nowadays. They have no responsibility for anything. They don't take any responsibility.
Okay.
So I hope that answers that so far.
So you said the tough love approach, and I understand that. But when you are going through that, and you have your, you're going through your monologue, and you're talking about tough love, and you're saying things that you want people to wake up to, do you find that you're getting a lot of backlash from that, and why? Like you're saying it's entitlement, but do you think there's other reasons why you're getting backlash when you are having that tough love approach? I know that you use examples from your life as well, but when in terms of you saying I want to help people, not everyone is going to accept that kind of approach. So are you able, and that's another second question, are you able to change your approach for the audience that you have or the audience you're trying to reach?
That's a great question. And I'm not trying to focus this on Pedro. I love you guys both equally, but this goes back again to something Pedro said. You started calling people miserable clowns. And when I first heard that, I was laughing my ass off. I'm sitting there driving, trying to deliver this order, stuck in traffic, and I hear they're miserable clowns, and you have the clown emojis, and I'm like, man, this is good shit. I'm like, I got to use this. And from that point on, I was like, there's another man that understands this. That's when I started to realize, what I felt, it's just my opinion, Pedro, what I felt your real calling was to be a coach. And I started talking about that back then. But the DoorDash thing was hot back then, and we're not going to get into that. I get it. So you went that route. But as far as, the tough love approach is, here's the thing, the miserable clowns, they're the ones that need the tough love approach more than anyone. They need the most help more than anyone. They're just not open to the help. And I can relate to this because when I was younger and going through the same things these miserable clowns are going through today, I could not admit my faults. And when people would call me out on my shit, I didn't want to admit it. I would lash out like these people are. So the problem, I understand where you're coming from. The problem, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but you can only help people that want to be helped, right? They have to be open to the help. And the people that truly need the help are typically not open to it right away. And that's what's happening here. All I'm doing is calling it as I see it. Why do they behave this way? This is my opinion. I've dealt with similar situations. This is why I reacted to this the same way they're reacting to it. So I compare it. I relate it to my past experiences. And then you call them out and they get triggered because they don't want to admit the truth. That's the bottom line. So that's the thing. I do have an audience of good people that follow me and support me. Obviously, the haters are still a little bit of a bigger audience, but we're slowly but surely growing with the right audience. And I think at some point, it's going to flip the other way around. I think at some point, this whole thing is going to end up dissolving. That's just my opinion. Did I answer your question, or is there something more specific that you wanted me to answer?
No, I think that was fine. I wanted to point out to Stevie for the alarm clock fun. My laptop was in the wrong time zone, and I'm sitting there. We're talking backstage, and I didn't check my phone and realize I was 15 minutes late. So it was definitely on my fault why we were late.
Listen, it's fine. I want to touch on something that Eli just said. I appreciate that sentiment, but I think at what point, right? So let's I take coaching and helping individuals extremely seriously. I've been doing it before I had a YouTube channel, and I've started to talk about it on YouTube with my DoorDash channel, right? The other channel that I have, and because I know I can offer more, and I think you've seen some of that. You've referenced it, right? You're obviously a viewer before I even, started talking about that necessarily. So I caught your ear, right? But one thing that I believe to be true and that works for me is that, I've dealt with some similar things that you have, not on your level. I don't have people calling cops on me. I don't have people doing, that kind of stuff. But I've had not yet, but it could be there. But this is my point. I've had hundreds of videos made about me, probably about as many as you actually. I've had channels dedicated to just me in similar fashion that you have, right? I think you have more of it, but I think this is the reason why, Coach Eli, right? So if we're going to say we are coaches and we want to help people, and we've had help, and it's Tony Robbins or it's this person, right? We have to at some point allow the people that don't like us just to not like us, right? I think it's okay. What I've learned is that not everybody's going to like you, and that's okay. And, my question to you is, if you're mentioning, hey, I want to take my channel to the direction that I really want it to go. I don't want to have to, I don't want to, I know you have to be stressed out with the trolls, the haters, the detractors, whatever word we want to use. That has to be stressful. Now, I say that because I've dealt with some of that. And there's been moments in my YouTube live or whatever where Hannibal's been like, bro, you got to ignore those guys. You can't respond. You got to ignore. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But I've learned it's easier to ignore. So my question to you is, at what point will you flip your channel to where you will ignore them? Because every live stream that I see that you do, at least recently, I haven't watched everything. So you have to give me, you got to forgive me for that, right? Everything, the first 20, the first 50 words that you say, half of them are, you're talking about the people that don't like you for whatever reason, right? So at what point, if you're saying now that you want to flip it and not have, you want to go more of the coaching route and give people real substance, at what point are you going to do that? And do you think you can? Because right now, my opinion is, I think, and this might offend some of those individuals, and that's okay, because we keep it real here. I think you guys live off each other. I think if you ignored them, you won't have as many people in your box, right? And let's say 2 months from now, if you started ignoring them today, 2 months from now, you're not going to have as many of those individuals, but you might have different individuals, which would be good. And also, if you stop feeding them, they don't have anything to talk about. Because right now, I feel you're giving them a lot of ammunition because you engage. So at what point are you saying you're going to not engage? And what does that timeline look like for you if you think you're going to be able to do that?
Okay, great questions. First of all, I was ignoring them for the last year and a half plus. This has been going on for 6 years. And so I agree with what you're saying. And first of all, I want to say I believe, you Hannibal, you Pedro, and myself, we have a level of thick skin far above and beyond, a regular level of thick skin, as we would have in real life. You need a stronger thick skin to be on YouTube. Fair point, right? So I think we all understand that. All three of us understand that here. We've been doing this for a while, all three of us, and we can turn it on and off like a switch, meaning that we have the self-control regarding what we want to feed into and what we don't, right? Pedro, same for you, same for Hannibal, right? There are things that, I've seen you on stream, Pedro, and this is what I respect about you. You contemplate whether you should feed into something or not in a video or on a stream in real time. And that's as real as it gets. And I respect that. So I'm in the same boat here. Right now, I am basically, this is my audience. I'm catering my content to the active audience here. Sure. And that's because these people have infiltrated themselves into this gig economy community that I joined recently or over the last year. And I wanted to become a part of this labor revolution because I firmly believe that most, if not all jobs will be gig jobs or on phone applications in the next 5 to 10 years. All jobs.
Eli, don't you think you infiltrated yourself in that community first? Would you say that's a fair statement? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, maybe some people see it that way, and it may be that way. That wasn't my intention. My intention was I just wanted to follow other, Door Dashers to learn to be a better Door Dasher. And then I came across you because you have the best SEO out of all of these people. So it works. I'm telling you, it works, right? Yeah. And then I liked the motivational stuff, and then I started to see the no tip, no trip, and then the top. I saw all this stuff, right? And yeah, so
but don't you feel like you came on and really the gig economy knew you? I feel like this is a fact, but challenge me and please feel free to push back. Don't you feel like you came on within this community when the Glitchgate happened? Don't you feel like that's an accurate statement?
Yes, I was a part of it before, even with you. And let me tell you the truth, Pedro.
Yeah.
The reason why I was trying to get your attention was not because of the DoorDash content. And it was not to try to leverage you. And I know how people see that. It was because I related to the personal development. The motivational Wednesdays is what got me. I bought into you because of the motivational Wednesdays. Now, your DoorDash content was good too, but let's face it, everyone's been doing that kind of content. And it's pretty much dead now. We all realize that, right? But that's honestly,
I would say it's not dead. I still do okay with it, but I see why you would say that. I don't feel like it's dead, only because so many new people come to the platform for Google every single day. So I don't think it's dead. That's my opinion. I think it's going to continue to stay relevant only because of the amount of new people that come to the app for money and then come to Google for advice. So I think I still think it's going to be relevant. So.
And you're established too, bro. So the thing is, respectfully, you're established. So you're going to get naturally pushed out there more than most others. So it's to your best interest to continue with that respectfully. Go ahead, Hannibal. Sorry, man.
Yeah. I agree. This is on both ends, right? Like for me personally, we've been doing this for 3 years. So there's at this point, thousands of videos. It's hard to kind of catch me with something interesting unless something happens, like some kind of crazy event happens. So I understand that point. But yeah, the gig economy is growing. People are still, there's always something happening. The app's always doing something differently. But I want to jump back in with this, the strategy of how to handle detractors, right?
Yeah.
So we can look at both, right?
Yeah.
Pedro had to deal with something in the summertime. You're dealing with it. You've been doing it for a while. So let's compare the two strategies, okay? So Pedro, when he was going through the Glitchgate stuff, there's a lot of accusations being thrown, right? Let's say, but was said explicitly that Tony Hsiu gave a bunch of YouTubers a way to glitch something. That came out of many people's mouths.
People said that I was being paid. I mean, Eli, you talked about this. There was a lot of accusations.
A lot of accusations. And Pedro decided to say, hey, you know what? Every single person that said something like this, I'm going to invite them on my live stream. Everyone that had something to say and say, hey, if you think this happened, please come in, bring in some level of proof, right? It was probably one of the highest level amount of people that showed up in a live that Pedro had.
800.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it, bro.
I've never had that in the gig economy. That's a lot of live viewers,
right?
That's huge. 800 people on the live stream, on any live stream, man. Come on, man. I was like, holy shit, man. What the hell is going on? Go ahead.
but he brought those
Yeah.
people in, and they had a conversation. And it depends on the quality of the conversation, the people that came in, but they showed up.
Yeah.
They tried to explain their position. So, is it ever possible, Eli, that you can? You may have already did this before, but is it possible that your strategy is to try to reach over and have that honest conversation? Like, because I know you said many times that these people are not telling the truth and they're lying, and there's certain things they're getting mixed up. Wouldn't it be easier if you had them on your stream where you and these people come in and you guys can have a conversation kind of similar to this? Like we've made some videos about you that I'm sure you didn't like. I'm sure there's some things you said that Pedro didn't like. Pedro had to say something, and we could probably talk about that later on. But I want to know what your strategy. Would you think that would be something that's a good idea, or you think it's not possible?
Regarding, like ignoring the haters or a different strategy,
because there's two, right? Is you can ignore them, but you can do what Pedro did, right?
You could face them. You could face them on the live show and let them ask you questions, let them bring their facts. That's what I try to do, because I have nothing to hide. Yeah. And if somebody wants to have an accusation, I can just open the live and say, here we go, bring your facts. I'll bring mine. I brought mine that night with timestamps of videos and dates. And, I feel very secure and extremely confident in my ability to speak the truth. So I think what Hannibal is asking, maybe you've tried that and we're unaware of it. That way you could maybe put to bed some of these accusations, some of the rumors, and allow these individuals to come in and just have a fucking conversation. Right. And maybe you got to yell and scream for a minute, but maybe there becomes a little bit of dialogue that allows people to feel a little bit better. Right, or whatever, right? And
it may not even work. You guys may not even agree at the end, but at least you did it. At least you tried, right? So, like, Eli, have you tried that?
I'm sorry, man. I'll mention one thing, Mr. Flex, man. If you love my moves, brother, then you can stare at them all damn day long, dude.
Listen,
all right,
I put that up because it was a super chat, so it is what it is.
I'll tell you what, Flex, I'm gonna be 50 years old, and I'll come and run track with you any given day, bro, and I'll whoop your, what. It's all right, man. It's all good, bro.
Okay.
It's all good, bro. You can come out to, Bear Island and Redwood City, and we'll run the 3 miles, dude. Let's see who finishes first. Anyway, it's all good.
Yeah,
that's friendly.
Let's focus. Let's focus.
Let's stick to the point. I'm so sorry, Hannibal.
No problem.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. Go ahead.
So, you hit the nail on the head, Pedro, because you've been through the same thing. Hannibal, you've probably been through some, but not as much. Hannibal, I got to say, you're one of, and I'm not saying this to blow smoke up your, or suck up to you, but you're like the most literate guy in the gig economy community. Like, honestly, you respect, man. Seriously,
there's some more literate gig economy guys out there, I think, but I appreciate.
Look, dude, compared to listen, no disrespect to anyone, but compared to many others out there, man, you carry your own. And I wanted to say that because everyone thinks I'm here to suck Pedro's nuts. And sorry, Pedro, I respect, man. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to do that to anybody.
I get my nuts sucked online. I don't need anybody else.
I get that.
I get it all day. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But so you're right. Hannibal, listen, this is my guy right here. Okay. Like, this is a fascinating, smart dude. He's lazy, but also very smart. It's very weird. Hannibal has this weird mix of things that I wish I had at times. And I'm kind of the crazy one that just speaks, and Hannibal's always very measured and very smart. So I appreciate you saying it about him, because he's a dear friend of mine. But he's So I'll just say that. But,
yeah, I like to pay respect. Respect is due. I mean, the truth is the truth, regardless of what's happened. But to answer your question, Pedro hit the nail on the head. Years ago, I did go on panels with many of these people, and here's the thing. I think both of you will understand this, but because you've been trolled at the level I have, Pedro, probably a little more than Hannibal has been, you got to look at, the benefits of letting these people come on your show and talking with them or going on their panels. You can do it for a little while, and then afterwards it dies out. It's just the same thing on repeat. So the bottom line is everything that you've done. See, Pedro, I didn't know you guys. You guys didn't know me. Like, earlier on this year, I was just this Coach Eli guy. Who the hell am I? And you guys had the right to say, who the hell am I? But I was trying to get to know you guys. I was throwing myself in there tactfully. And I figured at some point, when you keep reaching out every now and then tactfully,
Thank you,
man, if
Silicone.
that woman wants to, if that woman wants to drain her bank account and help you guys, God bless her. God bless you, Mrs. Silicone. Okay. God bless
Listen,
you.
I mean, listen, Eli, if somebody puts $49.99 up in the box, bro, I'm going to put it up. It is what it is. I got to be honest with you. So thank you, Silicone. Appreciate that.
That's great. If you're going to purchase Pedro a villa at Bar Island, I mean, look, they're apartment homes. They're about $5,000
Listen,
a month.
I do. I like living in St. Louis. I'm very, very well aware that St. Louis has a very fantastic cost of living. So, but that doesn't mean if I lived in San Francisco, I would just do other things to make sure I was okay, right? But yeah, St. Louis obviously has a great cost of living, which is what it is. I was raised here. So,
hey, Pedro, you don't want $5 or $6 a gallon gas dashing with that amount of gas, bro.
Absolutely not.
No.
But I think I want to touch to how I knew you and when. I think obviously you wanted to get my attention and the gig economy's attention, and I can appreciate that. I've done that in this community. I've definitely done that, right? You want to, when you feel like you have something of purpose to say, you want people to hear it. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself in a community and saying, hey, my name's Hannibal, and my name's Pedro, my name's Eli. Listen to what I have to say, watch my video. I think a lot of us do it on some levels, even people in the chat that have channels. You want clicks and views. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been very adamant about that, right? We're here to get, to spread a message, whatever that is, and you want people to watch, right? Because we think we're offering value. Yeah. But I got to challenge you on one thing. Okay. The way that you came into, letting me know who you were was kind of negative. And I think in your heart, you kind of know that a little bit. And that's the only issue I really have with you, right? I don't, people could, things you've done in the past, that's the past. Like we might have an opinion, but like at the end of the day, like I've made plenty of mistakes. Hannibal's made mistakes. We're all men here. We make mistakes, right? Nobody is perfect. Yeah. I've said crazy things. Like we're not going to hash that up, right? But I got to say, the only reason you really got my attention is because of things that you said, and you questioned me in the validity of the things that I've done. And I thought that was a really kind of uncoach-like way to go about getting somebody's attention, right? And I got to just say that to you publicly live, because we haven't,
sure.
We spoke about it on that other channel when I said, hey, I want to come see you in March. And I know Hannibal wanted to talk about that because Hannibal's very like, hey, bro, you shouldn't have done that. You can't do that. When
it's
I
all
saw
good,
Hannibal,
man.
I mean,
no, but when I saw him in person, I got to give him credit. Hannibal's like, hey, man, you're not really going over there. I'm like, yeah, I might, because I'm a very instinctual human being, right?
He's nuts. And
I'm a little nuts. Yes, it's fine.
I mean, I don't know if you had a chance to watch that video, Eli. It's probably the one episode where me and Pedro did not agree the entire time. Like I'm trying to explain to him. And now I think as we go through a couple of months and weeks of how intense some of the rhetoric is, Eli, and I think you could admit that some of it, and you've had experiences with this, of people showing up and the doxing and all this type of things happening. I mean, Eli, when you really sit back and think about this, either you're online or not, what do you think about all this is happening last week or so, especially yesterday? I don't know if you see a lot of the live stream. I mean, you were part of some of the live streams, some of the stuff I've seen today. These last 48 hours, what's going through your head? Like what?
Yeah, good question.
Like,
well,
what's going on?
Well, you guys are probably wondering why I even showed up after all this. You guys are probably wondering why I'm here and why I'm calm and all this, right? I mean, let's be honest before I get into that. I'll answer that.
Yeah.
Or are you not? Are you not surprised?
I am a little surprised. Yes.
Hannibal's more surprised than me. I expected you to show up last week. Things happen, and I respect that. I was very confident you would show up tonight.
But
I was a 99.
It's more intense now than it was last week. So like last week, it wasn't that nothing necessarily transpired. It's like actually more intense. So you can answer that question. But another question, and I want you to be honest, if you can. Do you kind of like the
tension?
It was none of it. Okay, tension, drama, whatever.
Drama.
Do you like this intensity? Do you like intense situations, intense conversation, intense? Like, does this make you feel more interested to make a live, to go live, if there's tension happening?
It's a great question.
It is a great question because it's something that you would also ask Pedro too.
Pedro can answer it.
Well, hold
Pedro
on,
can
hold on,
answer
hold
it.
on.
I mean, but Eli, you can
I'll
answer first, and then Pedro.
Eli, I tell you what, I'll answer it first because this might help you.
I can go. I go ahead. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead. It's fine. Yeah.
No, go ahead. You're the guest. Go ahead. You go first.
Well, no. It's like I don't have a problem who goes first. I'm just saying I'm not afraid to go first. But wow, Flex, that's cool, dude.
Yeah,
I'm loving this, man.
Flex is super supporter. He's a big baller out in New Jersey. Flex makes more money
He's
than
money
most
bags, man.
drivers. Yeah, big time.
Oh God, you are the man, Flex. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Pedro. Out of respect, it's your show. I want to respect that. But
So
go ahead.
Yeah, I think I get why you would say that. However, I'll say this, and I've been very consistent with this. I have entertained some of the haters or trolls or detractors, and I've done things, but I'll tell you what, I ignore most of what comes my way. I would say 90% of what comes my way or what I see, I ignore. I think you actually entertain 90% of what comes your way. So I've been pretty patient, actually. I've had people say all kinds of crazy things. I thought you said something crazy to me, and about what happened, this earlier in the year. I didn't like that. And I let you know in a comment section. I pulled up on that channel you were on. I didn't enjoy that, right? But I've had even worse things said than that about me. Channels being made, and I ignore 90% of what is, because I don't.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me because I don't know them. They're strangers, right? But if anything, I think you actually entertain it. So to Hannibal's point, what he's asking you is, I think on some level, do you feel like your channel needs that for the traction and to give you something to talk about on your walks with purpose? Because if you didn't have that, what would you be talking about, right? So I think that's where he's kind of going. And I ignore 90% of what comes my way. Hannibal, I think, can vouch for that. Many other people that know me, I ignore so much stuff. I've ignored a lot in the last couple of weeks, actually. And I haven't said anything because I am a busy dude. I got other things to do. So I think what he's asking you is, do you actually like that the people don't like you? Maybe that's
do you have no problem being the villain or infamous or being the bad guy in someone's story?
I'm sorry. I'll answer that question, but the fluffernutter thing is funny. I'm sorry about that.
That was completely funny. That's why I showed it. So shout out to.
No, thank you. Shout out to Brian. Mr. DoorDash sucks, right?
Anyway, not really, but that's fine.
I know you guys don't. I know you guys. I know, but that's he coined that. You coined miserable clown. You got to give credit where credit's due, whether you like the person or not, right? But okay. Here's the truth of the matter. It's not about whether I like it or not. It's about. I do what's called real-time life coaching. Most of you don't know, I have a main channel, Coach Eli Elias Mellis. I used to do all my content on there. It's been monetized for over 4 years. It's been around for 5 years. And when I met Don and started creating content on Coach Eli 2, and we got it to monetization status, we monetized that and moved all the live streams there. And on the main channel, I do shorts where I say, subscribe to Coach Eli 2 for real-time life coaching. Now, it's going to be hard to believe this is how I feel. This is just where I'm coming from. Like on that, on the Walking with Purpose streams, I will choose a topic. Sometimes I'll choose a topic. Sometimes I'll respond to community news of what's happening real time in the community. And, there are people invested, especially in this community, and they want to know what's going on. And we could talk things out. It's just a forum to talk things out. It's more of like an informal type of show where anything goes. Now, when I do shows from the studio with Dawn, and she'll be back, Dawn's in the other room. You guys know now, I didn't get arrested today. I didn't get arrested when the cops came to the house. Okay. So it's all good. She's in the other room, and we're going to do a show soon again. Okay. But when we do those shows, we'll talk more, of those serious nature topics and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll do some shorts on the main channel or pre-recorded videos on the main channel. But as far as the Walking with Purpose stream goes, it's kind of like your Sunday night show, Pedro, where anything goes. Come on up, have your piece. Let's work through this and move on, right? Maybe it's a structure, or maybe it's something that I need to change down the road. Maybe it's something that I need to do differently. but that's how I've been doing it from this point on. But as far as the villain and stuff, for me, I love calling people out on their shit, just like you do, Pedro. Let's be real. I love calling people out on their shit because it's a great lesson to teach other people. And a lot of these people that have come at me, I use them for example purposes, which they've all made fun of that. For example purposes. It's for example purposes. This is not, good behavior. There's something not right here. Don't behave this way. It'll affect you in this way, blah, blah, blah. Right. So that's how I'm seeing it. If you guys have a different way you're seeing it, I'm open to hearing that. I'm open to taking any advice from you guys. See, I'm open to hearing advice from you guys, but people that, are just haters, they're going to hate just because you breathe. I cannot value something coming from people that are just going to hate no matter what. I will value advice from you guys and other people that, I have respect for.
Well, I would say this. I think some of the people that we call haters, because I've used that word, and trolls, and Hannibal's used it, I think, as well. They're not always haters and trolls. They might just be people with a different opinion, a different perspective, or you know what? A lot of people do not agree with the things that I say, and I get comments that I look at it as a message, a word on a screen, and you interpret it very differently than if they were in person with me. Because if I was having an actual conversation with a human being, I think it would be different. But when you read something, depending upon your attitude, your mood that day, what you had going on, you might interpret that as hate or trolling, and it might just be a difference of opinion. I think you get a lot of that, but I think sometimes it seems like you might struggle with how to deal with it, right? Because
Fair
I think
question.
you just compared our shows. Our shows are completely different, Eli. Respectfully.
Of course they are.
My Sunday show is very different than what you do. Not better, but different. So I don't think it's a fair comparison, because I don't really block people. I don't time people out. I don't assume everybody is a troll. I've seen you on your walks. You're like, hey, is that the really you? I don't know who that is. You don't have. It's like you don't trust who's coming into your channel. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think our shows are very different. I would like for you to ignore them. I think that would be interesting. I'd like to see you go more the coach route and see what you could do with that, because they're feeding you, you're feeding them, and you guys are in this battle of like wits almost, and nobody is winning, right? If anything,
definitely no one's backing down.
No, it looks right. Like. So nobody's winning. If anything, some of the channels that talk about you are probably making more money than you on YouTube. So that's got to fucking sting, right? That has to hurt a little bit, right? I mean, I've seen some of the super chats. It's like, it gets crazy, right? So if anything, you're feeding them more content than they're feeding you. So it's like, I feel like you're in this space. It's tough. I get it, right? It's almost like with me with the DoorDash content. You got to keep doing it to stay relevant. And I think in some ways, you got to keep doing it, and sometimes trying to make an example out of them, using them as content. Hey, this is why you're doing this. But you're in this zone right now that you cannot get out of. That's how I see it, So.
Well,
you want me to respond?
Yeah, you can respond. Go ahead.
Just real quick. No, I get where you're coming from. You make a whole lot of sense, and I can withdraw from it anytime I feel like it. I'm basically right now doing what I feel is right to, move my channel forward and deal with what I have at hand. And sometimes you have to do that. A lot of these people in the past, like I said, I went on panels with them and I tried to talk things out, and I gave them the opportunity. And here's the thing: there's nothing more to hear me out, guys. And please, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to not accept what you're saying. I do, but there's nothing left to leverage from these people. But there's plenty of them to leverage from me, because there will always be something new coming from my end. There's nothing new about them. These people are just the same. They do the same things. They attack, harass, and defame people, and all this stuff. You've seen this. If these people did even 1/3 of what they've done to me, Pedro, to you and your family, you'd be showing up and kicking some ass. You would be.
Oh, well, yeah. That's why I said I was going to roll up on you, because you said some sideways shit. Let me be very direct with you, Eli. That's why I said.
I understand.
When I said I was going to show up in March, that's because I'm going to be there anyway. right? So yeah, I mean,
Cool.
I understand what you're saying, but it's because the same way you feel people have said things about you, you did the same thing to me, right? That's how I took it. Because if you want to get my attention, you don't. The way to do that as a man isn't to talk about another man's tragedy, and that's what you did. So do I feel bad about how I showed up on another doofus's channel? I do, actually, because that guy doesn't deserve my energy or Hannibal's or yours, quite frankly. Right. But I meant what I said, because that, I do stand on what I believe in. And family is extremely important to me, to Hannibal, to you. So I get that. I get that. But yeah, I think, you're mentioning they don't have leverage. I think you give them leverage. My opinion is you give them leverage based on your actions. And
they come unprovoked, Pedro.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I mean, I guess at this point, it's been so many years of the back and forth. Like we don't have enough. I've not watched your content enough to know who started what.
Yeah.
But at this point, we got to move beyond who started what, and how can we move forward, right? I think the situation, especially with Pedro when he went through, and again, I do not agree with what. I think sometimes when we get mad, and I think actually both, since you guys do more of the live stream, the more spontaneous content, you guys get mad, right? You guys stream when you guys are upset. It's like, all right, I'm upset with something, and let me stream. Is that something that, Pedro, do you do that? Eli, do you do that? Like when I'm mad, I'm going to start streaming something.
I'll answer that. I've done that one time in 3 years. And Hannibal, I think you can remember the one time I was pissed and I went live, and it was like a random live. I've done it one time. Yeah, I can admit that it wasn't my better moment on YouTube. That video isn't even on YouTube anymore, but I meant it when I did it. But I have done that one time, if I'm being honest. Yes. Yep.
Well, you got pissed off at the shopping pay too the other week on that live, man. That was great, man.
That's nothing.
That was great, dude. I know, dude. I was laughing.
That's in the moment. Like that's just me. But Hannibal knows what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I know, dude. That wasn't that big of a deal. I listen. No. I've had frustrating moments where I've slammed. I listen. Just because a man slams a door doesn't mean he's a psychopath. It means he can
it doesn't. But a lot of people seem to think that. But I would say that everybody slammed a car door in their life. Everybody
or a home door or something. Yeah. No, I agree. I was just laughing, dude. I was like, damn, I'm pissed off at those. I was pissed off at those shopping pays too, man. When they never go the right way, they waste your freaking time. I'm like, Pedro, you're right.
Yeah. That's
you're
nothing.
right.
That's nothing.
That is nothing.
But Eli, have you got upset about something or what was going on recently and decided I need to go live right now instead of? Pedro probably regret by doing. Maybe I should have waited a few hours. Maybe I should have waited the next day.
That's fair.
Have you had that for you in your YouTube career?
Have I had? Okay.
Where you get upset, where you get upset and you immediately start streaming. You immediately start creating some kind of content, usually a live stream, because you're upset.
I've done that quite a few times, and I'll tell you why. Because I am a real-time person. A lot of what I do is a real-time thing, sharing my stories, trying to lead by example, trying to tackle things head on. And you have to also understand that there's a certain shelf life to certain things that happen, whereas other things have a longer shelf life. So, for example, if you're the first one to break the story, you're going to get more of the traction than the other people. And I am a YouTuber, and yes, I do want traction, and I do want the clicks and the monetized playbacks, but I also want to do the right thing too. So, I've gone live many times. I've created content many times when things pop up, like today. I wasn't going to do a Walking with Purpose stream. I was just going to relax until this show. But after Redwood City Police shows up at my place and, right when they came, I'm like, yeah, I know why you're here. Somebody called, a wellness check on my girlfriend, Dawn, and I from YouTube. Yeah. Come on, let me show you where Dawn's at. Let's go talk. And I was cool and calm because I've been dealing with this shit for 6 years. So it's like, I expected it. Right. And then I'm like, okay, let's just go make everyone aware because let's just talk about it. Right. And so I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Why didn't you go live earlier today when you had the live scheduled for you and Dawn. You want to talk about that, or do you want to not?
Yeah, absolutely, Pedro. Absolutely. Last night, I'll tell you, Don and I were up late and we were doing a bunch of laundry. We're basically, her mother's coming to visit on, I believe, one of these days on the weekend. I can't remember which day. Don's going to finalize that. I was up late, vacuuming, doing other stuff with Don and getting the place ready. There's a lot of work to do and I want it to be perfect. So I was tired. I was freaking tired. So that's why we didn't do the stream last night. Initially, we were both tired. We took a little nap. We woke up, and throughout the night we were working on stuff. And then we were going to do the show at 11 a.m., but then we were still sleeping. Then I rescheduled it and we were still sleeping, and then we got up and then, we hear the door and boom, it's Redwood City Police. And it's like, oh my God, man. It's like that's what happened. Now, look, when you're an entrepreneur, and this, Pedro, this, Hannibal, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a regular schedule. Sometimes entrepreneurs work in the middle of the night because that's the most peaceful time and you can get shit done. I'm way more productive after midnight than before midnight. I'm like a gremlin. Okay. It's like that's the thing. So, that's the honest truth. And I'm not afraid to answer those questions because, most people are not entrepreneurs, so they don't know what our schedule entails. That's the reason why.
I only asked it because this morning I've just been seeing a lot today on YouTube, more than I really would like to. I think Hannibal can probably agree to that. I don't know how much, but it seems like there's
I agree with that too, bro.
Accusations and assumptions, and you know what I'm saying? Like it just seems like it's gone all over the place, and not that I want to be very clear. You don't owe answers to anybody, right? Like if somebody asks me,
right.
I don't fucking owe anybody an explanation to what Madison's got going on or my kids. Like, fuck y'all. Like, y'all don't run my household. Like, I get that, Eli. I need to say that. But at the same time, it almost seems like you're playing a game. Now, if I'm just being honest with you. I see the lives. It's like, what's going on? And it's almost like Hannibal's point, 10 minutes ago. It's almost like you like playing that game and keep people guessing a little bit. That's how I look at it. I could be wrong, but
that's a part of it. You mind if I jump in before I forget my thought? I don't mean to cut you off, man, but listen, listen, dude. I understand both of you guys.
I gotta put this.
And respect you guys more
silicone.
Than
Nothing
you think.
but silicone. Are you like Batman or something? Like
who are you,
or something? What are you doing? Can I have a job? Like, can you hire me to work or something? Because
Eli, sorry to interrupt you. But,
I'm sorry, Eli.
Respectfully, when somebody puts $100 in, I gotta say thank you. So
if that woman wants to give you all her money,
I don't know who the person is.
I told you guys. Listen, honestly, I'm happy these guys are making the money they deserve it. So, anyway, so I lost my train of thought for a second. We were talking about. Do I enjoy this? Do I enjoy, being in the middle of things and stirring things up? I wouldn't, like I said earlier, I wouldn't necessarily say I enjoy it, but here's the thing, Pedro, like you said, there are things. Hold on a second. Okay, guys, I gotta go take care of Don real quick. Can you guys give me 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
No
Right. And listen, I think the people that think Dawn isn't there, I think I just heard her voice. So I just want to be, if you guys are watching.
I mean, at that point, come on,
guys.
We're not agreeing to even discuss that because that's a lot.
No, we're not bringing that up. But at the end of the day, I think you just heard her voice, right? I mean, I don't know. That's how I look at it. But
we'll see what else is going on. I see a lot of the chat. You guys are being, I see you guys. Oh, he's back. I was like, you
guys, real quick. Yeah. We're good. Sorry to interrupt you. Do you guys mind if I take a 5-minute break, use the restroom real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Everything is all good. I'll be right back. Okay.
Take your time.
All right. I'll be right back.
The chat has been pretty cool.
I think the chat's been actually pretty cool. Yes.
Yeah. Expressing yourself honestly. You don't have to pay $2 to talk, or you have to be a member. And we can say this as well before Eli comes back.
Bro, Hannibal, you just so fucking smart.
Yeah, like
I'm so glad I'm on your side of this
Yeah, we you don't have to. We're not charging you to speak. We're not coaching the coach as they ask questions and all that nonsense.
God.
We're not doing any of that. This is a conversation. We're just having a conversation.
It's a conversation.
You guys can kind of take it the way what you get the information and see what you want to 300 catch.
Yeah, that like Giggity's been rocking with both of us for like basically 3 years.
I forgot Giggity. What was your last name? You had a different name. You changed it, and then
he had Pull My Gig. It was
Pull My. Yeah.
It was Pull My. He changed to Giggity maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He could let us.
He makes me laugh. Quagmire.
I would love to have a beer with this guy right here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think he's been Cam on. I think he was on Flex a long time ago. Was that true? Like Pull My Gig. Giggity. Were you on Mr. Flex panel? Maybe it was. I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think I just listen. I gotta listen. Can I be petty for a second, Hannibal? Do I have permission?
But we're gonna talk about.
Just say yes or no.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that I want to say this. I think a lot of us that have channels, we need to be more self-aware of the reality of what our channel is.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't know what we don't know, and we think we are something that we are not. So this is what a conversation looks like. And the shit I saw the other day was a disgrace. I know you're watching. You are humiliation to YouTube.
I'm not saying. I'm being mad.
I know
you gotta say what you're saying.
But it's the truth, bro. That was trash. I watched a little bit and turned it off. It was so bad. They had Eli up with a green screen behind. I mean, just absolute shit.
That was them. That was that shit. It's all good. Yeah. The Clippers are beating the bricks out of the Lakers.
Are they really?
Well,
is James Harden playing tonight?
No, I don't think so. So what do you think about that? Real quick before he jumps in. They got Harden, they got Westbrook, they got Paul George, and they got Kawhi Leonard.
I don't have to answer that. I want you to repeat the text message that I sent you this morning, bro. What I say?
What up? Dude,
no. What I say this morning?
I said you said something about the Suns. I was like, it's the Clippers. You said it's not 2015. This ain't 2015.
Well, that's my response. This ain't 2015. Listen, James Harden and Russell. I love Russell Westbrook. Mm-hmm. I love Russell Westbrook. But him and James Harden and a broken Kawhi Leonard and an inconsistent Paul George ain't doing nothing. So if it was 2015,
but they don't all need to be 100%. They don't all have to go 100. If all four go 80. That's not finals.
Not enough. No.
Yeah.
So got the Suns. You still got
Giannis and Dame Dollar can beat four of those, maybe, because they're two more healthier in their prime.
Because I think we have to understand the most effective Russell Westbrook, the most effective Paul George, the most effective James Harden
need the ball.
Is ball dominance.
Yeah, need the ball.
Kawhi, not necessarily. And there's one basketball. So I think the Clippers are destined to be a 7 seed.
7?
Yeah. Yeah,
damn,
absolutely.
I gotta look at the standings real quick. I don't even know how it was.
I
mean, it's still early. Yeah, it was
very early.
I just saw the little trade. Oh yeah, rest in peace to Bob Knight, college coach, great, 83 years old. I don't know what was
absolute legend.
I don't know if it was I'm assuming age. Didn't watch a whole lot of college basketball, but I definitely know his impact on the game, and his fieriness and
he was the last. The Indiana Hoosiers were the last team to go undefeated the entire year. This was 70-something, 78, 79, whatever. Isaiah Thomas was on, I think he was on the team after that. Anyways, so that's the last team to go undefeated in NCAA. And that's extremely difficult to do. The last team that got close was Kentucky Wildcats, and they lost to Wisconsin in the Final Four. So shout out to Bob Knight. He's
the sixth winningest coach in Division I men's college basketball history. So a couple of hits were going. Then the dude died from Friends.
Matthew Perry.
Yeah, and that's a little weird one. I read too much about it.
That's sad.
Definitely sad. He drowned. He was in this hot tub or jacuzzi or something. Apparently he was just doing something like a pickleball or some kind of sport or some kind of activity. I don't know what happened. I know a lot of people who love that show. Rest in peace to him. I didn't even know he did voiceover for video games. He actually did voiceovers for Fallout New Vegas, which I'm a big fan. I love that game. So I didn't know he was in it. So it was kind of a sad situation with that because, you know, there's people who are diehard Friends fans.
Let me ask you, we never talked about this. Are you a Friends fan? Do you like that show?
Nah, well, it was okay. It's okay.
Me neither. I think
it wasn't too.
I don't think it's very good.
I'm sure that there's some parts where I would laugh. Like there's some, but I mean, Seinfeld. You can't keep people with Seinfeld or Martin. Like Martin is so funny.
Those shows are way better than Friends.
Yeah.
Way better.
But in terms of, you know, Friends, where just, you know, the sitcoms with a bunch of white folks, which I still find Kramer is funnier than anything the Friends throw out. Or Cheers.
I mean, I think some of the scenes with Matthew Perry and Matt LeBlanc, like those two guys,
he's funny.
When they were living together, I think some of those scenes were really good. But like overall the show was just so unrealistic and so weird. It's not that good in my opinion.
Yeah, but you know, he there was some obviously it was a big show, like one of those shows that everyone was on. It was a
classic,
Coach Ron says Friends was overly white. I mean, that's the thing too. Like there was another show,
and it would like bring in like a black person here, and it was just not cool. It just wasn't that good. I didn't think the show was that good. That's my opinion. And when you force something,
it's interesting because if a show is based on New York City, it'd be hard to go around and not find a black person around. But
in an apartment building, how do you not have a fucking Puerto Rican, a Jamaican, like something like?
I don't know. I mean, now, it's impossible. But back then, who knows? In the 90s, but Eli, you back in?
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. All good. I had to drain it.
No problem. Let me try to recap. Paige, you got a question? I had something, but I kind of forgot.
I mean, I think. Okay, listen, Eli. You said a few times, right? You respect Hannibal and I as YouTubers. You've watched my motivational hours. You really like those, and those to me on my channel are very important to me because that's what I really get geared up for those. Like, not as many people watch them as my Sunday show. But like that to me is like where I am most impactful in my opinion, because that's just me. It's very raw, right? So I want to offer you a piece of advice, and you don't have to respond in any way. If you are Coach Eli and you have two channels that say Coach Eli and then Coach Eli 2, right? If I'm being honest with you, and you could push back and challenge me in any way, you can give me some criticism. I'm open to that, right? Very open to constructive criticism. Your channel does not look like a coach channel. And I think you know that in your heart because everything that you've done in the last couple of months doesn't align with that business plan. And we talk about being entrepreneurs. We talk about spending sleepless nights and we're working and you're hustling. Clearly, I do have to give you respect in this fashion. You hustle on YouTube. You're very consistent. Like, I can appreciate that because I'm very similar in that regard. We go live a lot. It takes a lot of time and effort to make a YouTube channel. You know that. I know that. Hannibal knows it.
Yep.
But if I'm being honest, your channel does not convey what I believe you want it to convey. And if I'm giving you some of that tough love, like how I like to coach, because I don't give a fuck, right? I'll say it to your face. Your channel is conveying that, but you control that, don't you? You control what your channel is, what your thumbnails are, what your description are, who you block, who you don't block. You control that 100%. But it seems as a viewer, my opinion is you are allowing the detractors, haters, trolls, the viewers. I like to call them viewers, right? Because I don't know if you're a troll or a hater unless you do something like a lot, right? And I think you have some of them clearly, and I have them, and Hannibal has them. But you're allowing them to make your channel something that you don't want to be. And to me, you're losing in that regard because you've turned your channel into something that you don't want, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel when I say that to you?
Oh, I understand what you're saying. I completely agree with what you're saying, 100%, 1,000,000%. And if you're shocked to hear that, it's the truth. The truth is the truth, man. Look, the thing is this. Right now, I'm dealing with what I've got. And that's the truth of the matter. I've been trying to switch communities. I've been trying to remove myself from this toxic community of where these people came from. All these people, no disrespect. This is the audience you guys have. You gotta, this is the audience. You guys don't block anyone. I get what you folks are saying. But I feel when you have like a gang type of audience of one group of people, there's only so much you can get from them. There's only so much you can do, right? You want to expand your horizons. And so for me, in order to expand my horizons, I have been looking at other communities. I was driving for DoorDash and Uber for a while. I wanted to follow that community. I resonated with a lot of the content, yours, even you, Hannibal. Yes, I did watch you, Hannibal, as well. Even Dashing Trader, FDA, right? FDA, right, Pedro, right, Hannibal, I watched all of them, Zach Drives Fast, even all the women. The funny thing is the women don't get involved in any of this. The funny thing is all of the female gig, content creators. My God, man, I tell you, women have surpassed the maturity of men. Like the women are handling this so much better. I got to tell you, man, us men have too much testosterone or pride or ego. And I listen, Pedro, let's be real. We've got egos. I got one. You got one. Hannibal, you got one too. But you're like cool, dude. You're like cool and calm. Like you're just like. You're like smooth as butter, bro. No,
my
you know what I'm saying?
If I want me to, I can jump in real quick, or at least my approach to how I handle, I guess, YouTube thing. Because for me, my main goal is to one day be full time with YouTube, and I would say at least I'm halfway there. We're gonna try to go through all the questions on the super chat, so don't think we're ignoring it. We're just kind of running through. And we're gonna go through them, and we'll throw it to Eli. If Eli wants to answer them, he may not, but we'll try to get to all the questions.
That's a very fair question. That's a fair question.
But I'll answer that as well as I start with this. But for me, I don't make content all the time, right? So I'm not constantly. So I'm mad with something. I don't go and start making a video about it, or at least going on live. I will keep it in a little bit. I rant, I rave, I curse, I go crazy, but it's not online. I don't think everything is meant to be online. And I don't know if it's a new culture of social media, or not new, but that we have to express ourselves all the time, even when we're upset about something. Because me being upset right now, I may not be as upset a day from now. In fact, I may be completely wrong about why am I upset. I may have to talk to my wife or hang out with Pedro or someone to bounce this idea. So before I go and make a video attacking or whatever content creator, I would ask someone, does this make sense?
He's done that wrong? A couple times. Yeah.
I would text or call Pedro. Am I just being insensitive? Am I being wrong here? And sometimes they'll say, yeah, you're a little sensitive on that one. And I trust them. So even if they did give me the tough love, like my wife gives me tough love, I trust her with that. So that's how I kind of approach YouTube. And it's a little different because you guys are more everyday. You guys have to kind of go through it, right? And you guys could say something that you may regret saying after you already said it, because you guys are grounded. You guys doing the everyday content. So that's a little bit of my approach on how I handle it. So it works for me, but it not work for everybody else, right? Especially if you guys are doing the everyday stuff. So that's how I kind of come with the content. So there's times I'm really, really mad. And I'm really, really mad, but it's not shown out here because by the time I hit record, I'm more relaxed and chill. But that's how I approach it. Shut up, Bobby.
Yeah.
At least you said ego was big, it goes late. But it was my laptop's fault. See, no, that's not wrong. So go back to accountability. See.
Yeah, let's all talk about that. You start first.
Yeah, so accountability. I forgot the detailed question, but I was late today, right? We was late with this live. You guys were here. My dumbass had the wrong time on the laptop. It's not the laptop's fault. Even though I just said it's the laptop. No, it's me not realizing I have a watch. I have a phone. I should know what time to start the show. I'm taking too long, gathering my stuff, got to come down here, set everything up. That's my fault. What made life easy for me is to have complete accountability. Even when I, as a manager, working in a dog walking facility, dog barking facility in Brooklyn, about 3-4 years ago, before I started doing full-time gig work.
Mhm.
I'll have an employee that I hired fuck up, like do something really bad. I'm going to have to go upstairs to the owner's office, and the owner's going to be mad with me. And I'm thinking, especially back then, why are you mad with? I didn't do it. They did it. I know the protocol. I didn't get the dog hurt. They did it. But the idea, I started to realize in my head, it's on me. I hired this person. I trained this person. This is the result because I put in not enough work with this employee, or I should have fired him. I shouldn't have hired him in the first place. That's total accountability works well for me because I can rant and get upset about how certain things didn't go my way. And some people could have did this, could have did that. But when I really feel like this is all on me, I feel good because then I have the ability to change it. I have the ability to figure out how to get out of it. I post a video. No one watched it, right? Like it died. I can sit there like fucking YouTube algorithm bullshit. They're not pushing my stuff. I was like, nope, the video wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. What can I do to make the video better? Let me watch some YouTube videos about it. Let me look at a new technique. That's to me, total accountability. So there's not who did this or who just said this to me. And so even with some of these videos that attack me, I don't want to, it's not a big deal. It's like, all right, cool. You may be right. You may be completely wrong. But I may have said something to hurt their feelings. I know I made videos about you, Eli. I made videos about some other people. I'm sure it hurts their feelings.
Join the crowd, brother.
But I take accountability that's something that I did. I hurt their feelings. Pedro was upset. He wanted to go visit you because feelings were hurt. Yeah. I mean,
I get it.
It's honestly,
you could hurt my feelings, but it's when you're talking about somebody like I'm very old school when it comes to talking about women or kids or situations without having knowledge.
Me too.
I'm just very,
you're protective.
I'm very protective. Right.
Me too.
So it may never necessarily be a personal thing, but that emotion, you invoked an emotion that kind of pushes out. But also it's on Pedro's accountability. Yeah, someone said something. That doesn't mean you have to go visit them. You don't have to drive all the way to California. You don't have to do any of those things. Yeah. Because when something goes wrong, and that's why I think this conversation is great, that we're trying to cool the temperature down. We're trying to bring the temperature down with this because I don't want anyone hurt.
The temperature is very hot right now, and I wonder why it's even hot, right? Because at the end of the day, none of us I know Hannibal. I've met Hannibal many times. I really don't know Eli. I don't know any of you guys in the chat. Maybe I've met a couple of you, but like we get worked up over people we've never met. And that's always kind of been weird to me. And to Hannibal's point, as far as accountability, like Silico was asking, you want to pull up, you want to do things, you feel like you want to protect. And I do still stand by those things because I think as a man, there's just some things I just can't forgive. And that's my fault, though. That's my own, maybe on some level, insecurity, pride, ego, whatever you want to call it. But like I'm a very old school in that regard, right? Like if Eli lived in St. Louis, I would have done pulled up on you. And that's just me being honest, like 100%. Like I would have already done that. And I would have probably regretted it afterwards. But that's just me being real. And in the moment, like I'm a very rational, very quick, like just instinctive person.
Impulsive is the word.
And my impulsiveness is a strength of mine, but it's also a weakness. I believe your biggest strength is usually your biggest weakness. But let's stick on accountability. Like Eli, when you think about accountability, right? How do you think about that in the terms of things that you do in your life, things that you've done on YouTube? Like when you hear that word as a coach, like how do you take that?
I think if you aren't able to hold yourself accountable, you're going to be lost, and there's no way you can help other people and help them be accountable to themselves. If you can't do it for yourself first, you have to lead by example. And look, here's the thing. There are a lot of mistakes I've made, just like you guys have made. I've come out many times and admitted my mistakes, and I've talked about things, and they keep getting rehashed, and they're rehashed on purpose because these people love the cringy drama entertainment. So look, I said some things years ago, I used some slurs and some innuendos, whatever, right? And I apologize, for that. Personally apologize for that. Even to you guys, I know you guys weren't a part of it. I don't know how many times one person can, apologize and regret what they did. And then people continue to push the envelope on it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing with this group of people here. I think it's just a very unique group that's conglomerated together. This is just their happy place. Maybe they're struggling with a lot in their lives to the point of where this keeps them entertained and keeps them feeling better than they would otherwise. That's the only.
But Eli, didn't you give them a reason? Didn't you give them a reason to come together? Don't you feel some responsibility in that? Don't you think a lot of these people wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for you?
Well, you guys don't know the backstory. You guys are going to ask,
No,
how
I don't. I'm asking.
$1,000,000.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't.
Right. So do you want me to share that backstory right now on that real quick?
First answer that question. Do you think that there are a large number of people that are part of this community of haters or detractors or trolls that are here and they know each other because of things that you've said in your past, whether they were right or wrong?
Yeah, but they were brought together for a different reason, which I've shared many times on my channel. And when we get to that point in the show here, I'd be happy to explain that. There is a reason why these people all got together. It ties into why I feel I've lost about $500,000 over 6 years, which is $83,000 a year on average, which is not an unreasonable amount of money to make on YouTube, even as a smaller YouTuber, if you do things right. So, I mean, there is a reason for all this. And the more of the backstory you know, the more context you'll have to understand, or at least I hope you understand, what brought this all together. But we're talking about accountability and probably accepting responsibility for your actions, right? The bottom line is you have to dig deep within yourself first. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I fucked up. I made all these mistakes. I need to work on myself and better myself and hold myself accountable. And once I'm able to get to a point of where I feel I'm in a better place, where I can help other people learn the same lessons I finally learned, that's a good place of, being at to start helping people. So, that's accountability is very important. You have to hold yourself accountable. I also feel that if you're struggling to hold yourself accountable, having an accountability partner, I'm sure you've heard of that, Pedro and Hannibal, an accountability partner, a coach like you, Pedro, even you, Hannibal, we could all be accountability partners. And there are people that, I have accountability partners with on and off of YouTube. And we talk regularly behind the scenes. A lot of stuff that you guys, a lot of the good stuff that happens for myself and Don through this coaching business and all that, despite what you've heard, it happens behind the scenes and stays behind the scenes because these people do not want to be involved or be known by these haters. They don't want to get attacked. So that's it's important. Accountability is important. It's huge. It's a big thing. I don't know if that answers the question for you guys. I hope it does.
In terms of, like you said, I want to ask you about your I guess your strategy on how to handle dealing with all the past stuff, not necessarily the details, but what you said, all those things that you were upset. What was the strategy when it happened? So you had those clips, you realized they're being passed around. What was your strategy? I know you apologized. Did you make a whole video about it? Did you apologize directly to these people? Did you bring them back to the panel and said, you know what, I did this. I'm really, really sorry. Not the apology like you see a lot of people do, celebrities with if this offended you, I'm sorry, that kind of thing. Like, no, legit, I really messed up here and I want to make it right with you guys. What can I do to make it right? What was your strategy when you saw those clips coming around and you realized, well, this will be affecting my business? How did you approach it?
Well, the same way I've been doing for the last however long it's been. I apologized immediately. I did a stream. I went on other panels, and all those panels I went on with this group of people. See, you got to understand, there were a group of creators that are known as drama shit show channels. You've seen those on YouTube. Their job is like the TMZ to just intentionally get people triggered to make content off of them. Okay. And so that's what happened here. So when you go on these channels and you're going there legitimately to ask for forgiveness and to, come clean and hold yourself accountable, they start to flip the script on you to try to trigger you more, because you guys have heard the lolcow thing finally, and I know you guys played with it. I'm not offended by it. It's not a big deal, but this is what they did to me. They made me into this fictional character, and they've tried to make it appear real. And a lot of people have profited from this supposed, fictional character appearing real or something, right? And so no matter how many times I legitimately apologize, like you see the woman that's donating money to you, congratulations, I'm happy for you guys, and I'm not upset about that. But she's saying, she's trying to question my apology. Like she's trying to tell me what the right style is for me to apologize, or what she feels is the right style for anyone to apologize. No, my apology is coming from my heart, and it's sincere. And you can either choose to accept it or not. And if you don't want to accept it, then your choice is to move on and do your own thing. But if you're going to continue to be invested in me and follow me around to channels that I go on, and if you want to donate all your money, then you know what? I'm happy that these guys are making the money. You see, guys, you see how surreal this whole thing is? Like, I'm being legitimate with you guys. I've been dealing with this for years, and it's gotten to the point of where it is what it is. It is what it is. I can't control what these people do. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and eventually, hopefully, they'll just, taper off, and more legitimate people will start following my channel like they have, and it'll just surpass itself at one point. That's just the way that I look at it.
Can't they have that opinion?
Yes, they can.
Right? Has somebody ever apologized to you, and you felt maybe it's not I think we've all had that. Has that happened? Somebody apologizes to Eli. You're like, you know what? I don't really trust their apology. I think that's all that these people are saying. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Pedro and Hannibal. Quite honestly, when people make mistakes, especially out here on YouTube, I don't even really care to get an apology. All I care about is, hey, they go their way, we go our way. The thing is, I'm not the kind of guy. I'm not like a dog that's going to start to, stick my tongue out and say, I need an apology. I'm not an overly sensitive guy that they make me to be. I'm not the type of guy that is going to be seeking the validation of an apology, because validation seeking behavior is feminine energy. It's not masculine energy. Us men are strong as individuals. We're leaders, right? And I'm not saying women aren't, but men and women are biologically different. And that's another show I'd be willing to do with you guys down the road if you want. It's up to you. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that, an apology is an apology. You either accept it or you don't.
Sure.
I'm not going to apologize for something that is, I'm not going to apologize just for clicks or whatever. I do it because I mean it. They just don't want to accept it because I'm their form of entertainment. I'm their supposed lolcow. And if everything is fixed, they have absolutely no other content. Their content is dead. And these people, I'm sure, are more than capable of doing something more. Yeah.
Can't they say the same thing to you?
Sure, they can.
Isn't your content dead if you don't talk about them?
Maybe for the time being, but I've got other content I can talk about. The thing is, if these people go their own way and stop clogging my airwaves or clogging this YouTube space and stalking me all over YouTube, other people can come in and we can do the right thing, which is what I'm trying to do. But you got to understand, let me explain this to you guys. Let me put this into context. If, let's say, for example, like Robert Reese, for example, he's going back and forth with this other coach guy. I'm not going to mention his name. You guys know who he is. He's been in here trying to,
yeah, we know,
whatever, right?
Coach J. Ron.
Bottom line is,
Coach J. Ron.
And I don't talk about him, and I have no problems with him or his wife. And if I mention something, about a show he did last night publicly on YouTube, and I'm saying that his wife was encouraging him to do things, that's not talking smack about your wife. You talk smack about my woman forever. So, dude, look. But the point of the matter is that, and now I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought of where I was. What were we talking about, guys? So I can keep moving forward. I'm sorry.
I asked you about. You said that they're feeding off of you, but I asked you, aren't you feeding off of them? Can't the same thing be said about you and what you're doing on your channel and what they're doing on theirs? That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, it can be, right? But like I said again, you know, all I want to do is do my own thing with real decent people. Oh yeah, now I remember what I was going to say. So take Robert Reese for example. You know, he's going back and forth with this other coach. Okay, and the other coach threatened him. He threatened Robert's life publicly. Okay, on a live stream, which is not the right thing to do. So I'm on a live stream with Robert last night on his channel. We're doing an interview. It was great. I was cool and calm. I don't know if you guys saw any parts of it. I know you're not too fond of him, but that's okay. So at the end, Robert responded to him, and he's like, you know, hey man, if you're gonna come and say that to me, then you know what? Tell me where to meet. Tell me where to this and that. And he's like, I don't care if I get a black eye. I'm already black. I mean, no disrespect. It was funny, but the point I'm trying to make here is that if let's say Robert went to meet with this other guy and they were going to try to hash things out man to man, one on one. Let's say the other guy, the coach, decided to bring another 30 people and then they gang ambushed, attacked Robert. 31 against 1. Robert's done. So in essence, that example there is the same thing happening here to me on YouTube. You've got a mob gang attack of people, you know. Dude, look, you came after him. I have nothing more to say about this. I'm not talking to you. It's not a big deal. We're good. I'm done. The point of the matter is it's a group mob attack. They all conglomerate together behind the scenes. They find out where I'm going to go, and then they ambush that show in the chat. And then the creators are wondering what the hell is going on. When you guys first started seeing this, you were like, what the hell is this, right? And I expect you to react that way because you haven't been around for the backstory. So here I am trying to go around, just run my thing and explain the backstory 6 million times. And quite honestly, like, I don't have a problem sharing it and being transparent about it. I'm just tired of saying the same thing over and over again, man. It's draining, right? So that's exactly what's happening. You have haters, Pedro, but they're individual. They're going to come at you one by one, and you can have all these different matches and it'd be a fair fight. These people don't fight fair. That's the bottom line.
Can I be honest? I don't. Yeah. I think I do have some haters. I think I have some people that don't like me. But let me tell you something, Eli. I don't. If you don't like me, I don't give a fuck. It's not that.
Neither do I.
It doesn't weigh that much on me, right? It doesn't weigh that. Like, it doesn't weigh that much on me. Like, you know, not everybody's gonna like you. It's okay. I think you have these people and they're gathering around a bonfire, and there's 30 or 40 of them, and you show up and you give them the matches and the wood. So why don't you stop showing up and giving them the matches and the wood? As a coach,
I've been trying to do that.
One coach to another. You haven't been trying to do that, bro. Let me be honest with you. You don't do that. You show up to the bonfire and you give them the wood and the matches. So why don't you stop giving them the wood and the matches?
Well, like I said, I did in the past and they didn't stop. I did for 1.5 years and they didn't stop. If you ignore people, Pedro, for 1.5 years, typically most people forget you exist. These people wake up every morning dreaming my name, saying my name, making coffee. Like, the thing is there's only so much you can do with people like that. And so I get where you're coming from. Listen, Pedro, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. You are not wrong about anything. But this whole situation is just so different than anything anyone's experienced. The way they do things makes me look like I'm some incompetent, fool, no matter what I say. And all I want to do is come and do interviews with guys like you guys, talk about real topics, life topics and stuff like that. That's all I want to do. But when you have a gang of people coming in and stirring things up and disturbing live stream chats like this in a group mob fashion, it even throws you guys off, that's the truth of the matter. So hopefully that answers the question there, man.
I'm not thrown off at all. Hannah boy, you thrown off?
Well, I am, not to say thrown off, but I'm looking at, again, the amount of emotion that's in this situation.
There's a lot of emotion.
And I would say we are,
and some history. Yes.
Well, yes, a lot of history. Definitely a lot. I definitely contributed to this. I think we all have, right? With the content going back and forth. I'm not going to say that I am above this. I am not above this at all. But I know when it's time to chill out. I live in Brooklyn, New York. we are in areas where if this actually was happening on the streets, there would be a different result that's going on.
Oh
So
yeah, in Brooklyn, yeah, bro.
yeah. So I know when it's time to everyone needs to chill out for a second. Let's stand back. Let's reassess what's going on here. I think at least with your situation, Eli. I don't know if you're still listening. I know you're doing your thing.
I am.
So this question I wanted to ask about the apologies that you have, right? You said you apologize, and it seems like it's just not connecting with the people that are obviously critical of you. Have you ever considered a possibility that some people may need more time or they need evidence of change to move past your previous actions? Like, have you done enough of a difference where they believe that, he actually is apologetic? It's a bad example, but it's sports related. It's in my mind because, I deal with dogs.
I get it.
Michael Vick, right? Michael Vick had a dog fighting ring. People were destroying him. People like he should get the death penalty. Fuck Michael Vick. Blah, 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 blah. He apologized, right? Went to jail, spent time in jail, apologized. People still were giving him a lot of crap. Right? Even him back that he still was able to play. They didn't want to deal with him. He had to do a lot to get back that level of trust. He had to go on, do like speaking tours, PSAs. He had to put in a lot of effort to show that he understood what he was doing wrong. He understood why and how to move forward. So I'm asking you, do you think you've done enough? Or has it been enough time for certain people to see that change, after you apologize and see that change? Do you think you've done enough for that?
Okay, so there's going to be two parts to this.
Okay.
First of all, I feel I've done more than enough, but you can always do more constantly every day to become a better person. Like, even as a coach, I follow other coaches. Coaches follow other coaches, and we strive to be better, and we're open to suggestions and change and learning something new every day. So no matter, how far along you've come from, a situation that you're trying to recover from, it's always going to be a recovery. There's always going to be a recovery process. I get that. Okay. But at the same time, like Pedro's saying, and I'll just come out and say this directly, I really don't give a shit about what anyone thinks about me. And I think, and I'm not saying that from a shitty attitude. I'm saying that from a point of where the only opinion of myself that really matters is my own. And each individual, in my opinion, if you have that attitude of where the only opinion of yourself that matters is your own, then nobody's opinions of you will offend you if they're not what you wish they would be, right? So it's kind of like it's a mindset thing, right? It's getting yourself in the right mindset to be cool, calm, and collected, and understand that life isn't fair. It's not always going to go the way you want it to go, and people are going to have their opinions about you. And some people, are going to have issues to the point of where, they have mental issues and stuff, and they're going to come at you, and you have to learn to kind of understand that you aren't always going to hear nice things. So you have to know how to, respond to it or ignore it or handle it properly. So I understand that, but I go off of, the saying that, hey, the only opinion of myself that really matters is my own. And I don't really care what anyone thinks about me. Do I care about people? Yes. I care about the good people that, are down to earth, easy to get along with, and reasonable. And I even do care about the other people, but I just don't care to invest any of my time in that negative arena with that negative energy. Now you guys will come back and say, well, you're stirring it up within your own thing. No, I'm trying to just clear it up and get it to move on, because I did try to ignore it for a year and a half and they kept coming. So I said, there's only one thing left to do. You tackle it head on, wear them down, make your audience aware of what's going on, and then move forward. Look, I'm here with you guys now. I'm happy to be here. I was with Robert Reese. I've got plans to move forward in a positive way. And whatever comes out of this, comes out of this. If we work again, that's great. If not, I'll still watch you guys. I'll still respect you guys, no matter what anyone else says. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. I mean, I'm open to any feedback. I'm open to any suggestions. But Pedro, honestly, dude, and Hannibal, look, I have respect for you, but you're cool and calm. Like You're just your own individual of cool and calm, like a statue. I'm not trying to suck up to you. I'm just saying, like we need more people like you, dude. That I'm right, Pedro. Come on, dude.
We need more Hannibals. Yeah. Listen,
Well, I don't know if we need I mean, we could actually, and don't worry, we're gonna try to go through all these questions before we end. And I appreciate Eli being hanging out with us as long as he has. So I don't know, maybe we'll try to maybe another 10 minutes and we'll go to the questions. I don't know if you guys want to keep talking, but going by the mental illness aspect, and I'll be honest with you, Eli, like even I've noticed the back and forths with that. And with me, I think we all are a little nuts. And that's not a negative thing. I think we all have issues. Like I have ADHD. So I am diagnosed with that, Eli. And that's why I know that I have to check my impulses. So when I do look at a text, right? If I look like a comment or a video being made about me, my initial reaction is to be very angry or very aggressive. But I'd realize I gotta take a step back and chill out. So and I also realized that recently I'm not a psychologist. So me even talking about mental illness or telling people they are mentally ill, I don't think that's not a positive thing. And the reason why I brought that up right now, and I kind of remember a conversation I had with my sister, and I called her that. I said, you need help. And she was really mad at me. And not necessarily mad if it was true or not. That wasn't my place to say. I was frustrated. And I said that. And I think it still hurts her, right? So I think, and this is just my story, but when you do say that to someone, when they're not ready to hear it and you're not a professional, it hurts them. Even if you may be 100% correct. And I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to everyone here. That I know that was not the right thing to do, right? And I forgot about that because that happened years ago. But I know when I sit there and I type in, little comments about people being, people are crazy out here. I don't know if that's actually helping the situation because we do have a mental health crisis in this country, 110%. We do, especially with young men and boys. So your strategy when you say, I got to deal with these people there, you got this and that. Do you think that is making things better for your business, for your YouTube channel, and you dealing with this? Is it making it better or is it making it worse? What's your opinion on that? When you do reference them as having mental illnesses and the people who are your detractors, do you think that's helping or hurting your business?
Okay, that's a great question. Fantastic question. I don't think it's making it better or worse. I think it's just letting things stagnate. Let me explain why. If I go back real quick and explain real quick how this all came about, there were two creators 5-6 years ago that started to, they were following me and I was networking in some other communities. I met a lot of people. I had a channel with 200 subs and I was getting 80 people on my live streams coming on panel because I've done podcasting before. I did in-person networking. I used to sell insurance. I've done a lot of public speaking in person. And so what I was doing out here on YouTube with the coaching derived from what I was doing in the real world. So I've done, like you, Pedro, this GigCon and stuff like that, public speaking. I've done all that. And that's another thing I relate to you on, man. I can do the in-person stuff. I'm not afraid to speak in front of 1,000 people or 500 people or whatever, right? But there were these two creators that there were people coming on my channel and they were fighting and they were basically disturbing the chat and they were attacking people. And back then, YouTube was not as strict moderating their chats. Now you do certain things, you have the Google, administrator, whatever, right? You can get, timed out for a day, all that, right? So I started to ban these people. And as I was banning them, a couple other creators were reaching out to these creators and they were inviting them to their channels. And they started to build the Coach Eli hate group. And they were rebroadcasting all of my streams, these two creators, for like 2 years straight. Now, I've made peace with these creators. I'm not here to trash them. They're doing great. I've made peace with them. I have no problems with them. We're all good. I'm just sharing this for context, okay? So they were doing this and they kept every time the people would come into my chat and they would, if they were out of whack, if I would ban them, these creators would swoop them up and they would bring them over to their end. Now, there were a couple of creators that were actually paid by a sponsor a total of $5,000 per month between the two of them to create content in general. But the majority of the content they created was hate content on me. So they're making $5,000 a month, plus ad revenue, plus super chats, super stickers, and donations, rebroadcasting my entire content as I was going live. They'd have more people on their streams than I had on mine. So this is where it all started from, okay? And that's where, I figured conservatively, even though I'm more a slight left liberal, I'm more down the middle, but conservatively speaking, 6 years of doing this at $83,000 a year, which is less than they were making combined on my content, that's what's cost me $500,000 in my opinion. Am I mad about it? No. Listen, it's a lesson learned. It is what it is. But that's what created all of this and got it to where it's at today. I didn't start this whole thing, on purpose. I didn't intentionally do all this. I was just running my channel. And if these channels didn't come in and create these groups that still exist today, they would have never been created. That's the truth of the matter.
So,
can we talk about that 500,000, Hannibal?
Yeah. So wait, the 500,000 you're going to make, at least what Eli was going to make in the years. You calculate that figure. How do you calculate? Is that based on
where's that coming
AdSense or potential clients or like where do you? And then also the second question, the sponsor that you're talking about. Who was the sponsor? Do you have any information? Do you have any like receipts? Do you have any kind of
yes,
any information
I have
that
plenty of receipts, but
okay. But going back to the calculating the 500,000 that you think you're saying that you were lost. What was based on those figures?
Okay, let me say this real quick. I'm not looking to rehash receipts or put out any information.
No. I'm just asking if you had it. Yeah, you don't have to. But
What I'm saying is, I have everything, but at the same time, with these people that did all this, I'm at peace with them. I've forgiven them. We're on good terms, and that's that. But the damage has been done, and I wanted to put some context into what created this whole thing in the first place. Okay, it was a paid, targeted hate attack. They didn't put it out there that way, obviously, because it would create a legal issue, but that's what it was. So now, with that being said, the second part of your question again, Hannibal, was, what did you want me to, what did you want me to touch base on?
Well, how you calculate, you said you think you've lost about $500,000, right? So like what did it came from? AdSense? Did it come from potential, like how do you calculate that? Because to make 83,000, you got to push a lot. I mean, at least for AdSense, you have to push a lot of views to get that. Like I know there's one creator that he said he made about $600,000 in YouTube. He had like a couple of million view videos. He's actually talking about finance. That's actually, you get, obviously you know how the YouTube game works with advertisements. Usually how to make money, content pays more than everything else. So again, how did you come up with that figure?
Well, a lot of it has to do with number one, the more views, I'd be able to more so target the right audience. When you have a group of gang haters that downvote your videos, I used to get 100 plus downvotes a video. Ever since YouTube got rid of the dislike numbers, you guys remember that when they got rid of the dislike number? Those downvotes have gone down to about 20 or 30. So it does work because people can't see it. And I hear there are certain Chrome extensions you can see it, but who's going to go out of their way and do that? And you can't see it on your smartphone either, right? And that's where most people consume their content on their smartphones. So, we're looking at ad revenue from lost views, not being able to target the right market because these haters have tuned the YouTube algorithm to make it think that they are my audience. So YouTube is not recommending my content outside of this group as much. So that's affecting me from earning the ad revenue that I know my regular content would have made hitting the right audience. I've lost some super chats, super stickers, other donations that would have come in. I was going to get some merch out, and I feel I've lost from that aspect there. Clients, I've had clients. I'm not going to get into detail on that. I would have had a lot more clients over the course of the last 6 years. So, $83,000 a year, especially here in California, which is really nothing, is not an unreasonable number for someone that's put in the time, and you said it, Pedro, and I appreciate that. You put in a lot of effort, and same with you, Hannibal. But I've made a lot of videos. I've purchased good equipment. I'm a tech savvy guy. I put in a lot of time and effort into doing this. And you know, for me to not have made the money that most people would have made putting in this amount of effort, you know, something crazy had to happen that was above and beyond my control. I'm not saying I'm a saint. I'm not. I'm the furthest thing from a saint. I've made many mistakes, and I've owned them. But what these people did initially to exploit me in the way I explained and then extort money from me, which I've forgiven them all for this, that's what's created all of this. And if people want to believe it, they can believe it. If not, it's okay. I'm not here to play the role of the victim. I'm not here to backtrack. I'm here to learn from it all, whether it's my fault or not, and move forward. And that's it. At the end of the day, it's just about learning and moving forward. It's all a learning process. And that's why now I know how to better handle this. That's why today when the cops came, it was no big deal. Don and I, we've dealt with this, so we're like, whatever, right? We're not even making a big deal out of it. She's not here, you know, slamming the chat. She's not overreacting. When you start going through this at the level we've been through, you learn to have a tolerance for it. You learn to just accept it and expect it. So I hope that answers your question.
Isn't that kind of sad to deal, like, to, you're in this world, you guys going back and forth. Cops are coming at your house. I know you're saying taking it in stride, but have you ever sat back and thought, man, does this make sense? Is this the right life for me? And, you know, and if, you know, I guess another second part of that question, if you have your receipts, you have all your figures, you said, I've lost this amount of money and these are the people who are responsible, are you going to go the legal route? Are you going to sue for slander? Because I know Cardi B, I don't know if you know, a rapper or whatever, she sued a YouTuber, a blogger that said lies, that said tons of really terrible things. Cardi B was able to explain the amount of money that she lost and went to court. Now, obviously, it's expensive, but if you have a case where, I mean, $500,000 is a substantial amount of money lost.
It
right?
is.
And if you're able to prove this through all of the factors of these people, I know you nodded your head, but why wouldn't you go that route, legal route? You can clean your name, or was it clean your name? What is it?
Clear.
What is it, Pedro? Clear. There you go. Clean it, clear. Clear your name. You can move forward. Because right now it looks like you guys are just going back and forth and no one wants to back down. So do you have that idea? Do you think you eventually will do that?
No. Let me explain to you why. Couple of things here. Okay. First of all, the only thing that matters to me is that I've cleared my conscience, and I have a clear conscience, and that's what matters the most to me. I know deep in my head and my heart, I'm doing the best I can to do the right thing. And if some people, you know, agree, that's great. If others don't, that's great. People can go their separate ways if they don't want to support me, believe me, or follow me. Secondly, my father, God rest his soul, passed away 14 years ago. Okay. My father, in the last 20 years of his life, was a very successful realtor, but before that, he was a very successful car salesman. You know, he sold a lot of cars, made a lot of money. I'll just give you context, just so you know how hard my dad worked, Pedro and Hannibal. In 1984, which is a long time ago, my father sold 82 and a half cars and made $200,000 that year selling cars in 1984. Compared to today's money,
that's $1 million right now.
Yeah. Let me tell you what my dad did. And I'll tell you guys, this makes me emotional, so pardon me, okay? My dad would work 7 days a week, 14 to 16 hours a fucking day to provide for his family and to be there for his mom and dad, and to be there for my mom that was raising my brother and I. He was putting us through private school. I didn't want to go to private school. I didn't want any of this shit. I just wanted to be a happy kid, go to public school with my friends. My dad worked his life. He gave up his life for his family. So I take after him. Now, my father, being a top salesman, he went to invest into 2 dealerships with another person. He invested a lot of money into 2 dealerships that they owned together. This was towards the end of him selling cars. a little over 20 years before he passed away and before he started getting into real estate. The guy that he invested business in screwed him over with paperwork and stuff. And basically, my dad had to sued him for $500,000. And let me tell you this: that case went on for 3 years. Is the max? What do they call it? The term limit or whatever? Or I forgot what it is. The statute of limitations, right?
Right.
They got it extended. It went another 3 years. At the end of those 5 or 6 years, this case took, and after lawyer fees and court fees, my dad walked out with $50K. You think that was worth it for 6 fucking years of work? So here's the thing. Do I have enough to go after this? Do I have a case? Yes. But is it worth it? No. Not just because of what I just mentioned, but because of the fact that I'm not the type of person that wants to harm anyone. I can forgive and forget and move on. And I'll tell you this. Yes, I need money to survive. And yes, I want to make some more money. But I would rather go broke over a matter of principle than do all this stuff just to try to survive. That's the way that I am as a person. That's the kind of person that I am. So all I want, honestly, is for people to move on and do their own thing. If they choose to not move on, not a big deal. We'll do the best to ignore them.
Okay.
And that's it. I mean, that's the backstory there. So I don't have any intention of harming anyone or fighting anyone. That's it. That's all.
Paige, do you have any more questions?
Oh,
I mean, we get towards.
Listen, I gotta say this. I don't believe in. Okay, listen, Eli, I gotta be honest with you, bro. You didn't lose anywhere close to $500,000. I have to adamantly disagree. As a YouTube content creator that does decent on YouTube, you haven't lost anywhere near that based on your views. I think that, do I think you've lost some money because other people have? Okay, so other people re-streaming you or rebroadcasting you, if they're getting super chats, you probably wouldn't be getting those super chats because they're giving them to people that don't like you. So those people that don't like you aren't going to support you. Okay, that's one. Two, YouTube is very difficult. I've learned that. I've made mistakes on YouTube. I got demonetized. Eli, let me be transparent with you. Based on my calculations and my very consistency, I lost about $28,000 on YouTube in 4 months. 1 month I earned. I don't think I'm going to get it. And then I was demonetized for 3 months. Didn't earn any money. On my calculations, that's about $28,000. I get decent views. I get decent super chats. I have some channel members. For you to say you think you lost 500,000, it's such a huge number. I haven't made that on YouTube.
In 6 years.
I understand it, but $83,000 on YouTube per year is a lot of money. I'm not making that on YouTube, and your channel is not my channel. So
you're close to that, dude. You're making 50, 60, 70 grand at least.
Okay. Yeah, but that's not 83. And my channel, Eli, listen for a second. I want you to listen. So if you're saying I'm making 50 or 60, you might not be wrong, but your channel is not my channel. So you're trying to say you're making $33,000 more than me. You understand what I'm saying? So the math doesn't math. So I think you're saying that because it sounds good. Do I think you've maybe lost 20 grand? Yeah, about $20,000. And I am an analytical nut job. I know
20 grand a year or 20 grand period?
20 grand period.
Okay, I'll disagree. Listen, I'll respectfully disagree on that.
We can respectfully disagree. That's fine because neither one of us is going to know 100%. But 500,000 is a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. And I know YouTube pretty well as far as the numbers and the views and what that calculates. And that's the one thing that I know about pretty well, right? So I think you're saying that number to try to make people feel bad. I could be wrong, but $500,000, bro, that is a lot. That's a shit ton of money. That is extremely difficult. Less than 1% of YouTubers make that kind of money in a 6-year span. It's just that's a lot of money, man. I'm not going to make that amount of money in 6 years. And my channel is 10 times your size. Oh, I know.
I have faith in you that you can. I have faith in you can make that money, Pedro. I do.
Not on
Come
YouTube.
on, Pedro.
I'll make that money outside of YouTube. See, what most people don't understand is you can make more money with a monetized channel on YouTube beyond the Google AdSense with affiliate links, partnership deals.
Yep.
You mentioned merchandise. I sell merchandise. I think I've made $400 in like a year and a half. It's not a lot. Merchandise is extremely difficult to sell because none of us here have really big channels. We just don't. My channel is very small. Hannibal's is small. Yours is small. Everybody in the chat that has a channel is extremely small in the grand scheme of things. So I have to challenge you. When you say you think you've lost 500,000, I don't know that to be 100%. You could be right, but I would bet my yearly earnings on YouTube that you're not even close. I mean, based on what I make, and I know my CPM, and like Hannibal said, you're not into finance, you're into life coaching. It's just a very big number. That is an extremely large
my
number.
CPM's around 12 or 13 per thousand. So, I mean, maybe you're higher, maybe you have 15 or 20.
So what is your most viewed video on YouTube? How many views is your most viewed video? Because I also know when you do a lot of lives like you do, YouTube doesn't really push out the lives and you don't make as much on lives as you do on regular form content. So what is your most watched video on YouTube to date? How many views is that?
It's like 5,000 views, man. And here's the thing. I'm not questioning. Yeah.
It's not a lot.
I know. Let me know when. I'd like to respond to it if that's okay. I mean,
please do. Please.
I mean, before I forget, I'm not trying to go against what you're saying. I get where you're coming from. It does make sense. What I'm talking about is potential revenue based on different circumstances, which we don't know where they would have gone. There are channels out here where people just, do vertical videos and, they blow up overnight and then they make money. You never know what's going to happen. So anything is possible. But I understand it's highly unlike Pedro. Listen. But
that's like saying I didn't get my lottery ticket yesterday and I could have won 500,000.
I know.
Anything's possible. Eli. Come on.
I understand that, but there's luck and skill to YouTube, and if you use your skills and you have a little bit of luck, there's a better chance of you reaching a more successful channel. All I'm saying is that the potential loss. Let me put it this way: the potential loss, in my opinion, was $500,000 over the last 6 years. Now, that's just my opinion. You have yours, Hannibal has his, the rest of the people have theirs. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're right or wrong. I'm not trying to question you. I respect your experience, and I respect the fact that you're being transparent with some of your numbers that many people have been talking about. And I listen, Pedro, when people were saying, and I say this respectfully because I love the people that said this, but I disagree. You did not make $800,000 on YouTube.
Are you kidding me? Hannibal and I have laughed about that. If I made $800,000 to date on YouTube,
he'd be rich.
I would not be sitting here in this seat right now. Okay, you guys think I live in the Taj Mahal? Like, I've seen the video; it's ridiculous. I live in a very home.
To make that kind of money, you got high six figure subscribers.
You'd be rich.
You're punching. You're doing every video is like at least 100K,
listen,
200K.
If I made $800,000, why the fuck would I get in my car and deliver McDonald's orders? You guys are delusional.
Exactly.
That's a stupid thing to do. Okay, come on. Like, the same way I say that's stupid, I got to respectfully say, for you to say you lost 500,000 is stupid. It just is. I have to call it like I see it. I'm a tough love coach. You've lost maybe $20,000 in 6 years based on the views, and I've seen your channel. The traction's not there, and most of your traction comes from the people that don't like you. So at some point, my challenge to you, Coach Eli, is switch it up, man. Fuck these motherfuckers. I say that respectfully to the people. Fuck them. Stop giving them the fuel, and do what you want to do. Be a man of your word. Coach Eli 2. Don't talk about them, and go get the 800,000 from this point to 6 years from now, right? So if you're saying they cost you that money, then go get your fucking money. Like, why are you allowing them to cost you? I would never allow strangers to cost me $500,000. You see what I'm saying? I would never allow a stranger to cost me $500,000. I would sue them if I needed to Hannibal's point. I would cease and desist. $500,000 is a lot of money. So I would never allow that to happen. So for me, it's like, you can't just say stuff like that without being questioned on it. Because that's, you're talking to somebody, you're talking to two guys that have monetized channels that get revenue every 21st of the month. And I lost it for 3 months. Okay. I was supposed to get paid $6,200 for June, and I lost that. And I lost July, August, September. So you're talking to an expert. So to say you lost 500,000 is it's not fair to say that. And I say that respectfully.
Is nothing but silicone a YouTuber? Maybe this person's Mr. Beast or something.
I have no idea, because she's throwing around the money like it's going out of style.
No.
Well, yeah. One more question, Eli. Oh, actually, finish. Go ahead. Go ahead. I know you had something.
I have an idea of who that is. There was it could be the same person that used to sponsor these other people under a different account. And this person had a lot of money from an inheritance. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. All I'm happy for is that you guys are making the money, and I wish you guys the best. I mean,
Eli,
we're not doing this for the money, man. We're not doing this for the money.
I know you're. I know you're not, but I'm happy for you, man.
Hold on. I appreciate you sitting here for 2 hours.
Absolutely.
With the chat going the way it is, the chat, the fact that you sat here and spoke, it's something to be commended. I will say that, because you do not have to deal with this.
Yep.
I wonder one question before Pedro could read the super chats, because I have to use the bathroom. Do you think that you put too much of your personal life online? I know we talked to him, and I asked Pedro this too, because
I'll go first. I put too much of mine online, and Hannibal and I have talked about that, but I'd love to hear Eli's take.
But Eli, like, do you think I don't know, you use it for, like you said, example purposes, but do you think there's certain aspects of your life that you are putting out online that you probably shouldn't, that maybe they're not, that those situations need to be rectified, they need to be corrected, they need a time to build, or they're just not ready for you to put them out, put that kind of stories out there? Like, do you think you put too much of your personal life online?
It's a great question. And the answer to that for me is no. I'll tell you why. Because I can't live with myself being someone else, being something that I'm not. I live by example. I live off my truth. And so does my girlfriend, Dawn. That's why we work out. Now, here's the thing. Let's say we didn't put any of this stuff out there. Look, when you put your real name out there and show your face, people do background checks, they cross-check things, they run reports, they do all this stuff. You've seen all this, okay? It wouldn't matter whether we try to keep our life private or not, because there's public information people can, that's, God, Bobby. I feel like I'm in 7th grade again.
No, he's showing you some love, man. He's showing you love. I wanted you to see that.
Yeah, Bobby's
no,
Bobby's
I know.
cool
and I
I
appreciate it.
Bobby's a good guy.
I'm laughing at the Eli, got my Eli cherry pop tonight, man. That's pretty fun. No, dude, thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it, dude. But the thing is that, Don and I, even before I met Don, I was doing the same type of content. When I met Don, she was in the personal development already as well. And she wanted to share her story because she wants to help people. She wanted to help people. She still does. And that's what we want to do. And we want to share our real life examples and what we've done to turn things around and make things better. Right now, that's going to come with some scrutiny and stuff like that as well from other people. But there are a lot of people that love Dawn, respect her, that, humbly speaking, love me and respect me. But there are more people that don't at this point. And that's why it seems like it's off. We do have an audience of people that do like what we do and follow us, continuously and get value from it. And we're building upon that. But honestly, like I've always been a transparent person. I've always been about speaking my truth, because how can I call someone out to try to help them better their lives if I can't speak my truth as an example? You know what I'm saying? Like I lead by example, and that's what you do, Pedro. Listen, you do the same thing, man. I understand. Like maybe you feel you've shared too much. Honestly, I respect people that can just be totally transparent and be, and just keep it real.
Well, that's my channel too. Like I make a lot of mistakes. I don't care. Like I'm always myself. Like I say things. It's part of my channel. It's the whole bet on you, set goals one day at a time. Like it's like you're gonna make mistakes. I don't care about showing my failures. It is what it is. I don't edit videos that much. I just let the camera roll. I think there's value in that. I think it's more like a vlog
I hate editing,
style.
Bro. I'm good at it, but I hate it. Editing sucks, dude.
No, we got to leave it to the professionals like Hannibal. Hannibal is a fantastic editor. He knows how to do that, right? I can't do that. So I know my weaknesses,
Yeah. All right.
I know how to do it. I hate putting in the time to do it. So Hannibal in the future, maybe I'll have you do some editing, man. Maybe we'll talk about that. No, seriously, dude, I'm not kidding, man. I hate putting the time into edit, even though I can do it.
It takes a lot of time.
Hannibal's bougie and he's very expensive, so you better open up the pocketbooks.
That is true.
Well, it's all good, dude. We can handle that. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the last question. This is the last question, and I know again I'm not necessarily you brought up Dawn, so it's a question about her, but it's not based on whatever's going on. Again, I don't know all the information. It's a lot of people who know a good amount. They talk about it, and that's something that you have to deal with. This is beyond the scope of this conversation.
We got hashtag help Dawn in the chat. I just want we got to say that. Like people are concerned. They're concerned.
There's a concern, but my question to you is, if she told you, Eli, I don't want you to do this YouTube channel anymore. You obviously still want to do the coach thing, but I just not comfortable doing even you doing it because you guys are a couple now and you guys live together, so usually those kind of decisions or those kind of things can happen, right? But it's all hypothetical, obviously. But she says, I want you to shut down your YouTube channel. Would you do it? She says,
that's
for
a great
me.
Question.
Yeah,
that's a great question.
That's a tough question.
No, it really isn't. It really is. To be honest with you, it really isn't. But hear me out before you guys jump in here, okay?
Sure.
I want you to understand this.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, she would never ask me to do that.
Yeah, it's hypothetical though. Like,
No, I know. That's a two-part. That's why I was saying. I knew when I responded. See, I know how you guys are going to react based on how I start things.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
So again, she would never ask me to do that. But let's say hypothetically she did. Listen, before you get into a relationship as a man, you are that man and you have a purpose. And what attracts women to you is your purpose. This is my purpose that defines who I am. If I give up my purpose for anyone, especially my lady, then I have no purpose and there's no attraction there. And so my whole thing is I would not do that. And I don't think any man should give up his purpose, even if his woman asks him to do it, because a woman that respects her man based on his purpose and based on who he is would never ask him to do that, would never put him in that position. A woman that asks you to do that is falling out of love with you, or has lost respect for you, or is trying to control you, or is trying to just take advantage of you. So I don't have that problem with Dawn. Dawn loves personal development. She loves what I do. She loves helping me. What she doesn't like is all the hate and the BS and all that, but she's learned to deal with it. And before I even brought her on YouTube, listen, I had so much experience going through this with an ex-girlfriend in the past on a former channel years ago. You guys have heard of Dana. That's another, we can do another thing down the road. I can share more if you guys want. That's up to you. But I prepped Dawn for 6 months. Day in, day out, we talked. I prepped her how people are going to, react, what's going to happen, this and that. I prepped her with the knowledge of the mistakes I made in the past to be able to tolerate this as well as she has. Has she had her moments? Sure. So have I. But she's still here. We're still together. We're very happy and we're moving forward. And she's been very supportive of this whole thing. So, look, honestly, let me ask this. And Hannibal, you're a cool. See, the thing is, I'll ask you both the same thing. But let me ask you this, Pedro. Honestly, your purpose is everything to you. Your purpose defines who you are as a person, right?
My purpose? What do you mean by what do you define as purpose?
Your purpose is what defines you as a man. What my purpose is, what I feel my purpose on this earth is to help other people better their lives personally and professionally. You have a purpose of the same thing, motivating, inspiring people. If someone asks you to give up your purpose, including your significant other, if you give up your purpose, what does that do to what? How does that define you? How would you expect even your significant other to think of you if you were willing to give up your purpose for her? That women will not respect that. Great question.
This is a great question by Hannibal. This is going to be hard for some people to hear. I can do what I do without fucking YouTube. I can be a life coach without YouTube. I've coached people before YouTube. I've done great things before YouTube. If Madison came down right now and said, hey, YouTube is taking over your life, which it doesn't. I have a pretty good work-life balance for the most part. We have a great team here. If she came down and I felt in her heart that she said, hey, this is taking up too much of your time. And if I also felt that and, Ruby and all that, fuck YouTube. Fuck YouTube. Because at the end of the day, I am smart enough. I am passionate enough. I am a hard enough worker to be impactful without YouTube. YouTube is not my life. It's what I do. So my girls always come first. That's why sometimes I schedule things differently. I always check in with Madison. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? I'm going to Cleveland. I'm going to New York. I respectfully disagree with you, Eli. YouTube is a big part of my life because I do make daily content, but I am a hustler. And whatever money I make, I didn't make any money for the last 4 months on YouTube, and we're okay. So I know I can live without YouTube, but I can't live without the two girls above me. So I respectfully disagree with what you just said. That's how I answer that question.
Yeah, I get that, and I respect that answer. But let me ask you this: in the same ways that I came on and said, Don would never put me in that position. Do you think Madison would ever put you in that position because she loves you?
Absolutely not. But to that point, she wouldn't. But Hannibal asked a hypothetical question, and things happen. Relationships are extremely fluid, and people can think one way in 2020 and think differently in 2025 based on, as a man, how you reflect your intent and how you work your life balance. There are days that I come home and my video is not uploaded yet. And I got hey, babe, hey, I need 15 minutes. Let me upload this video. Let me put a description. And she'll look at me and say, oh, okay. And I know she expected me to be done when I came home. You understand? So I also know if I do that too many times, it will compound and the relationship will start to suffer. So I know I might be able to do that once or twice a month. But I, as a man, you mentioned the word man, I have to know how to move more precisely to where when I come home, wherever my feet is, that's where my head is, right? So I know she's not going to say that. I know she's not going to say that because I take care of my shit. But if she did come to me, that meant I wasn't taking care of my shit. So that means I need to, that means I need to like do different, right? So hypothetically,
perfectly said.
Like he said, if she came to me and said, hey, I need you to take a break, I have to value that because I love making videos. I make money. But what it's taught me is I don't need YouTube to be Pedro Dora Santiago, Mr. Bet on You. I could do many other things. YouTube is one social media platform. I don't even fuck with Instagram. I don't fuck with Facebook. I do nothing on TikTok. So YouTube is just YouTube. My girls matter way more to me. So if they did hypothetically come to me, I would be willing to have a conversation, and I wouldn't take that as me being less of a man for me listening to my woman, because at the end of the day, YouTube is a very short thing. I understand there's a shelf life within this space on YouTube. I'm not going to be a YouTube forever, but I'm going to be a father and a partner forever. So I place them before YouTube. So I have to respectfully disagree with that statement that you said. That's how I look.
Well, let me say one more thing real quick. And I can understand where you're coming from on that, because to put some context on this, when I was first dating Dawn, first 2-3 months into it, I wanted to take some time off of YouTube. And see, for me, I know within my head and heart, when the stove's getting too hot, there are times where I've taken breaks. Don's never asked me to do it, but I've wanted to do it. And every time I've tried to take a break, and especially the first time, Don was like, I love listening to your shows, you know, when we're not, because we weren't living together at that point. I love listening to your shows. I'm going to miss your shows. And I don't want you to take a break. You know, don't let these people get to you. Like, that's what this woman has done for me. So again, I understand where you're coming from. And at the end of the day, let me tell you something, the guys, and I'm not upset about it. Like, honestly, if I honestly felt in my head and heart that Dawn was suffering from me being on YouTube, I would leave myself before she would have to ask me. That's a better way of putting it. I would do that, and I have done that in the past. And every time I've done it, this woman comes and says, "You're not leaving. This is your purpose. I believe in you. I don't give a fuck what these people say. You know, I'll deal with it too, even though it'll be hard. You know, that's not the man that, you know, I fell in love with." So that's the kind of woman she is, you know. And so I get where you're coming from. You know, again, maybe it came off a different way and I wasn't as clear. But the point of the matter is,
if you believe that, you got it. If you believe that, you believe it. I'm just telling you what I would do. If you want to do differently,
yeah,
I don't have an argument with it. It's just, you know, like I look at it
it's different. It's different strokes with different folks.
Yeah.
I mean, what Skip Bayless told his potential wife, he said, Skip Bayless told his wife, or obviously still wife, "You will always be second behind my work." And she heard that, took it, and they're happy. It seems like they're happily married. They seem like they're happy. But he was, so everyone has, it's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. I mean, it's maybe a more popular answer than not, but everyone has a different way of approaching it. So right. Again, I know we're about to hit 2:30. Usually this time I'm in the bathroom, using the bathroom. So all right. So I know there's a lot of questions. You guys, I mean, Pedro, you can read them. Eli, you can decide to answer them or not. You can say I'm not answering. We'll just move on. I mean, at this point, no one's forcing
Pedro,
you.
can I use the restroom real quick too?
Listen, why don't both of you guys do that? I think we're having actually a really good convo. Why don't both of you guys do that? And I could stand alone. I'm good.
Yeah, just hang out with
Are we going to go another 20, 30 minutes or so? Is that
Let's
what
say
you guys
20 minutes. Let's do another 20 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
20 more minutes. Okay, I'll be right back and we'll do it. Okay. All right.
Sounds good. All right, I'm by myself. What's up, y'all? Listen, I want to say something while these gentlemen are gone. I appreciate everybody that is super chatted. Me and Hannibal do. We appreciate all the questions. I know we've probably missed some things. I'm trying to catch as much as I can, but I also want to be engaging. This is not an interview. This is a conversation. I hope you guys are seeing that. I hope you guys are getting some value from it. And I'm being as transparent as we can be. And I think Eli's doing that as well. I think some of you might think differently. You probably know Eli a lot longer than that me and Hannibal have, which is you can have that opinion, right? You can keep that respectfully. I get it 100%. Yeah, I don't know. If you guys got some questions, put them in the chat. I do want to, when Eli comes back, I do have a question for him, though, about things that we've seen on YouTube. He's talking about Dawn. So we'll get into that. But yeah, I don't. Let me put myself up on single mode. Can I do that? No, hold on. Hannibal's got the. Let me see something. Okay, that's good. I'm in the middle. All right, what's up, y'all? Hit the thumbs up. I think this has been a pretty good combo. Obviously, we're not going to please everybody. Maybe some of y'all want some more hard-hitting questions. Maybe some of you guys think we're being too soft. If you think that, you are entitled to think that, because we're all individuals here. But I do think this is a pretty good conversation. I think it's a great conversation. We're not going to solve all the issues. We're not going to, get everything swept under the rug and all the history. We don't know all that. You got to understand, Hannibal and I have only known Eli I've known him for about a year, but really less than that as far as what's been going on. So we're not privy to all the things that you guys might be talking about. But it's my hair. Okay. Hair's a little crazy. But listen, I do have to adamantly disagree. Like, the thing about, listen, this might rub some people the wrong way. The thing about being a man and what I've learned, because I've made a fucking shit ton of mistakes in prior relationships, is that as a man in a relationship with a woman, in my opinion, based on what I've been through, I'm 42. I'm not the oldest, but I've had a lot of relationships with different women. Women tend to respect men when you have expectations, boundaries, and you support them in many different ways. It doesn't have to be monetarily or just physically or emotionally. It really has to be a balance of all three. So I know Madison wouldn't come down and ask me that question, but I know that if I wasn't doing what I needed to do, that might make her ask that question about YouTube and question me. But I do everything that I can to make sure she feels heard and valued. And we always get along and agree? No, I make mistakes every day, every week. But yeah, if she came down with like, I think YouTube's taking over our life. I'm not happy. Could you quit it? I think you're not being a good dad. I'm not getting enough of your time. I would have to consider that, and we'd have to have a serious conversation, because fuck YouTube. Like, those are my girls. You know what I'm saying? Pedro, can you please ask him why he kept asking for Madison to come? Yeah, I don't know why. Who knows? I mean, and it's a great question. It's been fun listening to his. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's, I have no idea. I really don't know. I think for Hannibal and I, this conversation, there's Hannibal. This conversation was about just kind of unpacking some things, asking some questions, trying to be relatable as possible that we could. I think we've done that, but we also realized not everybody's going to be full. We're not going to make everybody happy. Not everybody's going to get everything they wanted, but it's been an interesting couple of months for us on the Pedro and Hannibal podcast. So I thought this conversation was very fitting. What do you say to that, Hannibal?
Yeah, I mean, we were able to ask, at least we still have some of the questions in the super chats for him to answer. Oh, he's right back. Welcome back. We can kind of conclude this by asking some of the questions that's in that's super chats, and Eli has the right not to answer them if he just doesn't want to. So this may be a really fast segment right here, but Pedro, you can read them off and see.
Oh man, well, I don't even know where they're all at. Okay, I think a lot of the super chats talked about either accountability or maybe things you said in the past, or is Dawn okay? People have a question about your coaching, or some people in the chat are saying, "Hey, Eli's been really good. He's become a really good liar." Like, how do you feel?
Hold on. I think I can find them. Hold on a second. Let me find.
How do I feel about them? No, that's a fair question. Hey, Pedro asked a good question.
How do you feel about these things that you see? Because I think actually I have to give you some credit here, Eli. I think you've done a really good job of not focusing on the chat. I think you've been very engaging with Hannibal and I. So I do want to thank you for that, because I think the chat can be a really hard thing to navigate, and we tend to look at it. I look at it, and it's a very tough thing to navigate. So I really want to thank you for being very present with us, and I do appreciate that. So,
let me respond to that real quick here, Pedro. Before I did the YouTube thing, I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years. The first 10 years, I'm a licensed insurance broker in the state of California. I still am. I just haven't been selling for 3 years. It's not my purpose or passion. That's why I stopped doing it. But I did well. I did in-person networking. I met a lot of people. Oh, now that the camera's on Hannibal. Oh, there we go.
Pedro's doing.
Is that you, Pedro, messing with the StreamYard?
Yeah, that's me. I'm trying to see.
He's trying to figure it out.
Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Okay,
that's good.
Okay, you want that? Okay,
right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So I did a lot of networking in person, did a lot of public speaking in front of a lot of people, and so I've always carried myself fairly well. Yes, I had moments growing up when I was younger. I made mistakes, but it wasn't until I came out here on YouTube to where I didn't even know what trolls were 6 years ago. I had no idea what a troll was. I had no idea the court of public opinion and all that. It was all new to me from the digital perspective. So, and I'm losing the focus here real quick. You're asking how do I deal with this? Was that what it was, or
how do you deal with this, the constant these questions, the comments, all the hate, all the questions, the assumptions, the whatever, right? Like, how do you navigate that kind of stuff?
Let's take Donald Trump, for example. I'm not a Trump supporter, but he has a following, and a lot of people hate the guy. And he still has a following, and he's still successful at what he does, regardless of what I and many others think. I try to, take the good with the bad, take the bad with the good, which is what I'm trying to say, and realize that you aren't always going to win. And if you want to be successful in life, you have to learn to deal with the hate and ignore it and put it behind you. That's the thing. You grow a thick skin. When the first time I received a death threat on YouTube was like 5 years ago. And it scares you the first time. Then the second time you receive one, it scares you a little bit less. Then the third time you receive it, and you just start saying, "Oh, this is YouTube," and 99.999% of death threats and what people say they're going to do is fake, right? And you got to understand that. So I've learned how social media and YouTube better work, and I've learned to understand that the majority of what these people say that are detractors are just to try to get a reaction out of you for their own entertainment or whatever, right? And that's the honest truth, Pedro. And you've been through that, and so has Hannibal. So, that's a great question. I love what I do. I love coming out here on YouTube. I've always loved. My dream when I was a little kid was to be a broadcaster. And I would sit in my room spinning, remember 45 records? You guys were around for 45 records and 33 1/3, the big vinyl. Pedro, no?
Bro, you're older. Yeah.
Bro, I'm what, 8 years older than you? You're 42, right?
Yeah, you're 10 years older than Hannibal. I mean, I don't know about no 45s. Like, I don't know about that.
Well, you guys know what 40. So anyway, listen, I feel old. Okay. I used to spend 45s in my room, and I would pretend to be a DJ. And so I would just, DJ up the songs and play them. And I enjoyed that. And I wanted to do something like that in the future. And this is what YouTube has done for me, along with the coaching. I think you enjoy broadcasting. So I think you guys both enjoy broadcasting and having a place where you can share yourself and be heard about what you are passionate about, right?
That's fair.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what it is, man. I love doing this beyond the money. Yes, I want to make more money, and I want this to be something sustainable long term. I want to make it my career. If it doesn't work, I've got other options. I can fall back on insurance. I can do other things. I've got investments. I got all that. But this is my purpose and my passion, and there's nothing more that I enjoy than doing this. That's the truth of the matter. That's why I keep going. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at some of the questions. I think you answered the question about getting into the community by talking about Pedro, right? We talked about that already, right?
Yeah. I don't even want to get it. Okay. We could probably talk about that for a while.
We could move that back. We talked about accountability. There's a question here. I don't know if you may have explained this on your live, so I don't know if you want to go back into it. Again, it's up to you if you want to answer this question or not. Why did you keep the stream going with Dawn? That's up to you. You want to talk about it or you want to move on? It's up to you.
No, I'll talk about it. No, listen,
okay.
I've talked about it a million times, but I think I know who this person is. I think it's a woman. They also said they were the one that called the wellness check. Don't worry, I'll be getting the FOIA information and I'll find out who it was. Trust me. We'll get an audio recording of it because that's public information. Right. The Freedom of Information Act allows you to do that. But anyway, look, we were driving to the Jason Aldean concert and we both talked. We were like, we want to do a show along the way because in Mountain View, California, where the Shoreline Amphitheater is right next door to Google corporate headquarters, which owns YouTube. I wanted to show people that. And Dawn was excited about that. And what was happening during that time was she was dealing, with some things with her daughter that are not related to me. Okay. And I understood that. Right. But she was having a moment. Some people were saying things in the chat, and I was just trying to say, hey, babe, look, I understand it. Don't let these people get to you. You know, let's do the show. We want to show them this. Let's not, ruin this show here. It's basically, when you're in a relationship, you both support each other. Okay. Sometimes Dawn needs me to be there to uplift her. Sometimes I need her to be there to uplift me and pull her out of something. So these people saying, oh, that's being abusive, this and that. Do you guys think it's abusive if a man says, come on, babe, let's just work through this? There's nothing wrong with that. That's just being encouraging, right? Mm. Oh, come on, guy. Pedro, your eyes are rolling. Listen, bro, come on, Pedro.
You asked me.
Is it 2.5 hours? Is it 2.5 hours?
Oh, man.
We could probably be here a long time, but we made a video about this whole situation. So I don't know which more we can add to that. I think I don't like, and I would say this for me. If I'm arguing with my woman in public, the last thing we're going to do is to continue to argue. So I will try to remove all of ourselves from that situation, because I do not want to argue in public at all. Like, it's not comfortable. It's like everyone's losing control in it. And you are live streaming, so it's public. So I would remove myself. Like, we got to go and talk privately, because I truly believe that, or at least for me, I praise in public and criticize in private. That's like at least my style, or not really. I'm on YouTube, but at least for me and my lady. So that's my approach. But I know we go into it, it could be another half an hour talking. So, Pedro, do you want to jump in or read the rest of these questions?
Come on, Pedro. You got something.
Go ahead, Pedro. Go ahead.
I do, but I mean, listen.
Oh, you say I wouldn't do that, right? Then
no, I would not do that. I gotta say this, Eli. Coach to coach, it was not a good look. And I do want to say this though, to your credit. I understand when you say, hey, you got to be strong as a man. A woman has a respect. I get that. I do have some traditional tendencies in my relationship. I do. However, there are moments as a man, you have to protect your woman. And if I'm being honest with you, what I saw in that video, and Hannibal and I talked about this, did not seem like a man protecting his woman. And that's me being honest with you and transparent with you. And I didn't see that. She looked not happy. She looked stressed. And at the end of the day, if I'm in that position, all right, guys, peace. And I fucking turned it. I did a 14-hour live last Tuesday. I came home and I could tell, I can sense that my girl wanted my attention. So I turned the live off. To me, that's what a man does. So that's how I would answer that question. And we didn't have any issues when I came home, but I could tell she wanted and required my attention. And my intention was to continue to go live. I said, hey guys, it's been a great day. I'm going to spend the rest of my night with my woman. Click. Fuck YouTube, Eli. You have to, if you get nothing else from this, you have to give less to YouTube and more to yourself. Like
I agree, Pedro.
So I'm glad you have to give less to YouTube. Thing? Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I get where you're coming from.
No, you're good. You're good, man. You're good.
I get where you're coming from. At the end of the day, your woman is different than mine. Same with you, Hannibal. Our women are all different, and our relationships are different. And I know my woman. I know my woman's limits, and I know how my woman is when she comes off a certain way, and I know when I feel we need to wrap things up. Okay. In this situation, I did not feel, based on what I know about my woman, that it was bad enough to the point of where I needed to kill the stream. Had it gotten to that point, I would have done that, because ultimately she does mean a lot more to me than YouTube will ever mean. But at this point, it was like she's having a moment. And women have moments. And let me tell you, Pedro, when a woman loves you, she wants to spend every damn moment with you. You can't fucking breathe.
People have moments. People have moments.
Right.
We're men.
Right.
No. You can't say women have moments.
I know men. I know,
Yeah.
but I understand that I'm not trying to play the gender game. What I'm saying in this case, we're talking about my woman. We're talking about my woman who is a woman, and I'm saying as a man, handling this situation with my woman, this is why I handled it that way, because I know her and I know what her boundaries are. And she wasn't at the point of where it was that bad to where it needed to be cut off. She needed to just hear some compassion and say, hey, babe, we're going to get off the exit. We're going to show these people where Google headquarters is at that owns YouTube. It'd be really cool to show them. And guess what happened? If you watch the rest of the show, after she had her moment, she was cool. We had a great time. We enjoyed the concert, man. And then I'm getting criticized. Hey, Eli, Jason Aldean's an alt-right guy. How do you support? Like, dude, I don't care. Politics have nothing to do with the music I listen to or people I follow. I think politics are bullshit, to be honest with you, to a certain extent. But the bottom line is the rest. If you look at the rest of that show, it was cool. We're pulling in. There's Google. There's a Shoreline Amphitheater. We wanted to show you folks what it's like to live out here, how our life is. We thought it was cool. She had a moment. If you folks perceived it a different way, then we both apologize to you. I apologize to you. But I know my lady and I know her limits and she knows mine. And everyone's relationship is different and has different limits, right? There we go. Okay, there we go. Enough of that, because we have other questions and I know you guys want to wrap it up soon.
Damn, I kind of lost my. Let's see. I think it was about apologies. I forgot where I had it. So when you, Eli, when you say I sorry if you feel that way, have you ever used that terminology when you apologize to someone?
Of course I have.
You think that's a true apology? It's like, if you feel that way, do you think that is a genuine way of apologizing? I think that's the question.
That's not the question is, Hannibal, is when you apologize. Mm-hmm. See, the thing is, I can apologize and people will say it's not good enough. You need to do more. And I'm saying, what more can I do? I'm sorry you feel that way, that you feel my apology is not worth it to you. But hey, all I can do is apologize and you can take it for whatever it's worth. That's all it is. It's a manipulative tactic from these people that just want to keep the back and forth going. And that's all it boils down to, in my opinion. I'm sure, Pedro, what are your thoughts about that? Does that make sense to you?
Yes, but I think it takes two.
Of course.
I could engage, and Hannibal could engage in more types of content on YouTube that are responding to what I call clowns and weak individuals. And I've done that a little. I've done that a little bit. There are people that they had all kinds of stuff to say about me. But I look at it from a business aspect. If I'm spending too much time on those guys, I'm not making money doing shit that's more impactful. Right? So, I think you can you understand what I'm saying, right? As an entrepreneur, a businessman, right? So we shouldn't be spending too much time on the individuals that aren't making money for us, So for me, it's like,
I agree.
I got these people restreaming me, let them do it. It is what it is. They want my attention. Like there's levels to this. So, and I'm not going to stoop to that level too much. And, that's just kind of how I look at it. But I think on some levels, I could be wrong. I think Hannibal brought this up before. I think on some levels, you kind of enjoy it. It kind of gives you a purpose. You walk in with purpose. Like, I think it gives you a purpose to combat and react to your detractors. And I think in some ways, if you didn't have that purpose, if you didn't have them, I think you might feel lost in some ways, and that's how I look at it. And, that's just how I see it. So
I don't necessarily enjoy it. Real quick. I don't necessarily enjoy it, but the bottom line is, if they're going to fuck with me, I'll fuck with them back in a more funny and playful way. That's it. It's just a funny and playful reaction, and then it's time to move on. But hey, at some point, like you said, I won't even react to it at all. It's going to be done. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm interviewing with different people again, because I'm moving away from all this. I just wanted to come clean with you guys and give you guys a chance to, get to know me a little bit better. That's all. Go ahead.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure.
Next question. If you talk about someone without saying their name, are you not still talking about them? That's another question here. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to not mention a name or do too much, should you continue to talk about them because you're still talking about them, correct?
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Can you guys hold on a second? I'll be right back. Give me 1 second, okay?
All
Give me 1 second.
We got.
I think Hannibal's ready to go to sleep.
Oh yeah, I gotta get up in 5 hours. So.
Do you really? Oh shit!
I gotta do a bunch of random stuff. So you got that question.
I mean, listen, bro. I think we're probably done. Listen, I do want to ask you a question because somebody sent me something and I see they're mentioning it in the chat. Did you see the song? I know it's Darius Rucker and God, what's this other guy's name? Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to send it to you. There's a song out there about like men and Darius Rucker and Dax. Have you heard about this song? Have you seen
No,
it?
I gotta check it out now.
I recommend you check it out. I would love to get your opinion. Maybe we can talk about that on Monday.
Nice. All right, I'll check that out. Darius Rucker, he used to be in that band.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Okay.
And then he went to country music, and Dax is kind of like a hip hop kind of guy. I guess I don't know much about him, but I've seen it. It's been kind of circulating the interwebs the last like week or so. But I would love to get your take. Maybe we should talk about that on Monday. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think we're going towards the end there.
I think so too. Yeah. Let me ask you, how do you feel about tonight, Hannibal? I want to get your perspective. You're the measured, smart one. You're the one that always thinks gracefully. What do you think about tonight?
It's definitely an interesting conversation. I just don't think anything's going to change on both ends. So
fair. Yeah.
I don't think anything. Someone has to back down, and I don't think anyone is backing down. So,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Don needed me for something real quick, and I know we're going to wrap this up soon. So
we can wrap. We can start wrapping up now.
A couple more questions. What was that? What was that question? Let me answer this last question that you were asking. Can you repeat that one more time?
It's kind of related to when you say you don't want to talk about someone, you won't mention their name, but aren't you still talking about them when you do that?
Well, yes, but the thing is, I don't want to give them notoriety and give them, these people have taken enough clicks from me and stuff like that. So I just don't mention them. Honestly, I don't even really want to talk about them, but other people in my actual community that care about myself and Don, they want to know what's going on. So I'll briefly say, hey, this is what this person did. I don't want to give them any notoriety. These people, they want the notoriety. You know how it goes, guys. They want to be mentioned because they want to, number one, feel special. Number two, they want the back and forth. They want more clicks on their end. It's just a YouTube game. So that's all that is. It's stupid. And that's something that, I'm going to be doing away from as well.
Okay. So what do you think is going to happen? This is the last question. The very last one. What do you think is going to happen for you and your channel in the next, 6 months? Where do you think you'll be? And Pedro pressed the wrong button. Wait, where's Pedro?
Yeah, he booted himself.
Did you press something? Oh, jeez. You can still go ahead. Like, will you see this happening? This situation with, people talking about pulling up and copyrights and all files, all these type of things happening. What is your plan in the next 3 months?
Well, my plan's already in motion too, is that I want to continue to help as many people as possible or work with as many people as possible in the gig economy community to help fight for better gig workers' rights, because I honestly do feel, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, that, the majority of jobs in the next 5 to 10 years are going to go gig related. They're going to be on, smartphone apps, gig apps. AI is going to be involved. Artificial intelligence will be involved. And I know a lot of people aren't too fond of Jeff Thomas Black, and he even exiled me. He doesn't like me anymore, but I still respect his work. He calls us app slaves, which to a certain extent we kind of are. And I know some of you guys disagree. Maybe you disagree, Pedro. But the bottom line is, I think we need to more so start to lobby for this now, because if we don't, more companies are going to do things like DoorDash, and they're going to basically treat us like W-2 employees, and we're going to be misclassified as 1099 contractors. So that's what I want to focus on more so stuff like that. I also, want to continue doing the coaching. I want to talk about more relationship topics, modern world relationships. I want to talk about more business topics. There are more opportunities, than just, DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that. There's a lot of stuff I want to focus on, and that's the route that I want to go. So, and do more content with Dawn. She's looking forward to coming back on the channel and doing more content. And there are a lot of people that really love her and miss her. So she'll be back soon.
Okay. Paige, you got anything else? You good?
No, I think I just lost the internet connection. Sorry, guys.
So you just...
It's all right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I think it's lost.
yeah.
I just had to reconnect. So no, I don't have anything else. Eli, I appreciate you coming on. I hope you guys got some value from this content tonight.
I mean, I appreciate every single obviously all the super chats. I know it was a lot to take in, trying to balance the conversation with the super chats. I appreciate everyone that joined. I know we have Jam and Gig Mom decided to be a member, and that's awesome because she was hanging out with us way before any of this other stuff that were happening here. And I just hope everyone could kind of realize that we all need to kind of take a step back and kind of assess what's really happening, what's really important. If people are lying, they need to be exposed. If people are being, if you have the information put out there, if people are just not gonna like each other, obviously just move on. I mean, it's a little bit of that there. We got to protect our business. Also, you have to protect our sanity. So, Eli, I hope that you find that balance somehow. Hopefully, you can figure out how to connect with the people who disagree with you. I think their voices should be heard. And maybe you could find a way to either prove that you're right or prove, or apologize. It's either of those two, right? And hopefully that works out for you in the obviously in the future. I know you try and do a lot of different things here on YouTube. So
yeah, but just one final thing, and then I'll hop off the panel so you guys can wrap up your show. I appreciate that, Hannibal, and I appreciate everything, Pedro. Like, honestly, I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. And the bottom line is, I'm not looking to be proven right or wrong. That's not what this is all about. What this is all about is you're going to resonate with some people, and with some other people, you're just not going to resonate. And that's my final thought there. I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. I'm sorry again about last week. If you guys need something in the future, you know how to reach out to me. I'm open to any follow-ups or whatever you guys want. And before I go, is there anything else you guys want to say?
No, man. I appreciate you spending the time that you have.
Fantastic, guys. Have a good night. Thank you once again.
Well, take care.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right.
Hannibal's tired.
I don't do these. I know you can sit there and do 4-hour lives
listen,
sitting down. I do not. I can't.
I did not expect almost 3 hours.
No, I mean, it didn't. It wasn't. It kind of flew by, to be honest.
No, it did. It did.
I think that the issue is no one's going to be happy with the level. I'm sorry, guys. We're just not there. We're not there. I haven't dealt with this situation. I'm not a victim in any of this. I just think nothing's going to change. I think there's a situation where someone's going to visit someone right now. This ain't me. I live in an area where we have real problems, like real people fighting each other, real people killing each other.
And
this is not it. This is, you guys live in neighborhoods where I would love to live in, where you guys don't have to deal with the things that me or Pedro have to deal with.
Yeah.
So when we go on our computers and we're on our cell phones and we're going crazy, and again, we've contributed to this with the videos we have. We've made. Also, I feel like it was in a comedy sense. I mean, well, Pedro, you decided to do what you wanted to do, and I was going to go to St. Louis and strangle you.
Oh, you told me,
yeah. So,
I mean, listen, man, we're different. but
Yeah, we're different.
that's okay.
It's just
that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
but
Yeah.
and it's also it's like if I did, I wouldn't tell him my whole line. But
No,
it's
sure.
different view.
Listen.
Yeah.
No, listen. You're more. Listen. Okay, we're a hip hop show too, right, guys? So Hannibal's more B.I.G. Notorious B.I.G. Brooklyn, bred and born. He's gonna get you with a silencer. I'm a little more Tupac. I'm more Tupac. I'm gonna bang down your door and I'm gonna smack you across the face. That's just me sometimes,
Yeah.
and it's okay. But I thought tonight was I thought it was good.
Yeah.
We didn't solve any problems. We didn't
Thank you,
make
Chris.
any y'all feel
Appreciate that.
better. But we
Yeah,
definitely had a good conversation. We had
It was
an
a good
conversation.
conversation. The fact that he stood
adult
there and listened to some of the criticism,
Yep.
it wasn't much we could have done.
Yeah.
To real, like no minds has been changed.
No.
Who knows how he's gonna feel? Because usually he probably reassess, and I'm sure he may feel different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's important also to mention this. We may mention this on Monday. We are not an Eli channel. We won't be discussing him every episode. We haven't.
No, we're not that.
And I don't know if there's any more that we can really say at this point about the situation. He has new, I guess, enemies to talk to. Is it Torp? And they got the Robert. They got all these. So there's enough content. If you're interested in entertaining content, there's enough of that.
And that can be entertaining. I want to say that right now.
Yeah, but it just wouldn't be with us for quite a while. I think it's the next time we'll probably reach out, maybe next couple of weeks, probably, and then see where it's going.
I thought you said next year. What are you talking
about?
Well,
next week is a couple of weeks is next year. We're in October.
Fair. That's fair. You're right. No, we're November.
More football talk. Yeah, definitely. We'll talk about how terrible our teams are. So that's where we're going to go. Yeah, some trades was going on. So, and also I want to mention this right before we leave that Eli did donate to the show last week. I guess a gesture of not making it. And he was like, hey, dude, first I was like, we're good. But anyway, he did. And instead of, obviously just taking that money, we're going to donate it. Because I said, hey, how about we donate it? And you tell us what you want to donate it to. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a specific place. He just said, dogs, right? Because obviously him and his woman have,
and
dogs.
That's right up your alley. So both of them.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a dog. You have dogs. So
yeah. So actually, I'm gonna show this real quick. At least it has something nice to end this with. I'm gonna donate it to the North Shore Animal League. It's one of the largest no-kill shelters. I got my dog Riley. Riley is old as shit. He is probably 14, 15
I met
years
Riley.
old.
He is old.
Yeah,
but he's awesome.
I have to pick him up to go up and down the stairs with him, but he still eats, he still poops, he is still walk around. When he smells bacon being fried or food, he'll get up and see what's going on. And I absolutely love that dog. That dog was with me when I didn't have a job. I remember being unemployed for a year and playing games all day. I know I was getting unemployment, so whatever. Carla would work, and she used to work late, and me and Riley would walk in Brooklyn. No leash. We just walking in the middle of the night to meet her at the train station.
That's awesome, man.
So he was my. I mean, he's my dude. And he's super
man.
old, and he'll pee on the floor in 2 seconds if you don't take him outside fast enough. But no-kill shelters are extremely, extremely important because they're taking care of dogs that some people may never pick up because they're either too old or have behavioral issues. So we're going to donate it, that portion of Eli's donation to the North Shore Animal League. That's where I got my dog, and the next dog I'll probably get will probably be there as well. So on that note,
that's a great way to end it, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
On that note, I guess we'll be back here on Monday. Probably talking about how terrible our teams are.
Probably.
Who gives a shit about the goddamn Giants? They suck.
That's pretty bad.
Danny DeVito did not do well. I don't think he's going to do well next.
And the Bears. I think I saw something yesterday where the coach was saying, I think Justin Fields is able to come back, and they're like, no, we'll stick with the other guy.
No shit.
So
he's out.
Yeah,
he's out.
It's a shit show.
Yeah, it's a shit show. But I would say like they have. They get, is there good quarterbacks coming to this year? Like
Oh, well,
college?
there's the Caleb Williams guy from USC. He's kind of the top guy. So the Bears might be in the running for him. At this point, man, who knows? It's embarrassing. But, you know, it's still our teams. We're going to talk about them. So we'll see what Monday brings. And we'll also, Hannibal and I will be in Cleveland next weekend. So,
Oh, yeah, we got to figure that out. I mean,
we gotta
most
figure
likely,
that
if we
out.
could find
Yeah.
some spot where we can just press the button and on
We'll
the
figure it
phone
out.
and
We'll
talk
figure
about it.
something
But
out.
yeah, we'll have that talking about some Cleveland shit, even though I don't know any Cleveland stuff, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And let us know in the chat and the comments. Leave a comment after. What do you guys think about it? What did we miss? Hey, listen, we got thick skin. Give it to us. If you thought we were being too soft, if whatever, let us know in the comments. Let your voice be heard. We don't block anybody here, and let us know what you thought. So appreciate you guys for watching tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think after a couple of days, I think we'll have some thoughts on Monday as well, since we'll be traveling, just trying to figure out what works with then. So thank you guys. It's late. Get some sleep. Don't go too crazy tonight. It's what day is it? I'm tired. It's Thursday. It's Thursday, right?
Yeah, for both of us, it's Thursday.
Both of us, Thursday. All right, we're clearly tired. Thank you guys. Appreciate you, and we'll see you on Monday. Peace.